Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. Let me just post this wherever. See if anybody's down to chill, or whatever. What is that playing on my PC? Alright. We're gonna talk about a bunch of things. Well, it's a chill stream, so, you know, it's not gonna be like all crazy shit, right? But I would imagine it would be, at the very least, okay to talk about. I guess. Not sure where I'm going with this, actually, now that I think about it. Just talking randomly. Alright. Let's see. Alright. Alright. Now you just put it on Twitter. Alright. I think that is it. Alright. Let me just double check everything, make sure everything's, you know, nice and spiffy, like. And just make sure everything's Gucci. Alright, I think everything's fine. If there's some kind of setting that I'm not aware of, fix it accordingly, you know. But to my knowledge, I think everything's working fine. Yeah, okay. Alright, I think everything's Gucci. Alright, so I wanted to talk about like a few things. And I felt like a chill stream would be like the easiest way to actually get my thoughts out there in terms of like, you know, the different things going on, and you know, also might be a way to kind of connect with you guys again after a hiatus of sorts. So I think like the best way to start a stream like this is just to talk to you guys a bit about like the reason why it took a little longer for me to stream compared to like videos. Like I've been coming out with videos, you know what I mean? But okay, you don't hear it now, right? But there has been this weird thing going on, right? Now I'm not gonna say my location for obvious reasons, right? But there has been this weird thing going on lately where people outside, like I want to say my general neighborhood or some shit, have just been shooting like a fuck ton of fireworks, and I don't even mean like in the air. Like they're just shooting it at each other. Hey, Jugs, what's good, bro? Was this a lot shifty has appeared? Yeah, bro, what's good, man? How you doing? I just felt like this would be. I just wanted to chill, hang out, like good old times. Just kind of talk about what's been going on in the background, what I've been doing, what I've been playing. A good hint of what I've been playing, or right behind me, you know, and yeah, you know, just shoot the shit, you know. And if we ever get like a topic going that I feel like would be great for a video, I have this little thing here where I'll just change it to this view, and I'll talk about it, clip it, make a video, and boom, and there you go. And then people who don't join us on the streams can also, you know, get their own little feel about my thoughts and such. What is up, Shifter? Long time to say. Hey, Gil, good to have you back as well. Good to see you guys. It's always a pleasure. Midnight Mobile. Hey, it's been so long. Hey, Mobile. Yo, you know, I gotta say, it makes me really happy to see that there's people who like after a hiatus, right? Like there's still people out there who, uh, who still stop by after all this time. So like, thank you a lot, like seriously, about doing that because, shit has not been easy on my end. I wish I could be more active, but the way things are and shit, it's crazy how things are going on, right? And yeah, and I was just talking about like the main reason why I don't want to say the main reason, but like one of many reasons because initially, if you guys remember, I came back with a video called "Where Is Shifty," right? And it had like, it was mostly a video of me doing what I do best, playing Smash with a friend. I thought I was the only one that has deal with fireworks in my neighborhood. By the way, yeah, you're barely as much. Yeah, that's basically the idea. So pretty much what's been going on is I'm when the hiatus happened, right? I was dealing with a lot of like, to put it, I guess the best way of putting it would be a lot of stuff that kind of boils down to mental health, right? I was getting burnt out. I wasn't enjoying what I was doing as much. I was kind of trying to force it almost to a certain extent, but I felt like it was best to just take some time off. And most of it, tell you straight out, like most of the stuff that was going on had nothing to do with YouTube. It was basically stuff going on in the background of my life that was just not really helping me in a sense. So I was just taking some time off and, just kind of taking care of myself in that sense. But then when I made that video, "Where Is Shifty?" that video, I was originally supposed to stream regularly when that came out, right? And then, as Jugs put it, fireworks started becoming a thing. And so what would happen is that I would go out and record a video, and it would be a lot harder to record that video because they would be shooting fireworks right outside my window, and I don't mean like in the air. I mean they're shooting it at each other. Like I'll go, like I have a window right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like a window right here. So I would look out that very window, and what would happen is I would see like groups of 15 people to 15 people, maybe 12 to 15 or so, and they're just like in these groups just shooting fireworks towards each other. And since it's right outside my window, I couldn't record because what would happen is that I would record and then it would just like explode right next to my eardrum, and it's just like, it's extremely annoying, you know what I mean? So it became very difficult to get sound working in a way that wouldn't just blow out your eardrums, if that makes sense. The reason why I started streaming today is because it seems kind of quiet today. I haven't really heard anything. Maybe they're on break today. I don't understand. I don't know. But I figured like today would be a very good opportunity to kind of just talk to you guys and kind of get back into streaming. I did want to talk about like a few things here and there, and also if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to let me know. Ask the question. I'll take any questions about gaming or whatever it is that you feel like talking about. But yeah, that's more or less the reason. I was supposed to be streaming when that "Where Is Shifty" video came out. And these fireworks made it like really annoying. At least with like scripted videos, I can talk and then just cut out those sections, if you understand. So it's a lot easier to record and kind of just cut out the parts where like that becomes an issue. But other than that, yeah, it's been kind of annoying to kind of get through that essentially. I haven't been making videos either, fam. Work and anxiety got in my way. Don't want to force anything out till I'm a bit more motivated. I mean, that's understandable. It's understandable. I mean, YouTube is like very dependent on like constant content. Like you have to be posting something like constantly, right? And I was fortunate enough to have a video that did really well right before the hiatus happened, so I didn't really get affected as much as I thought I would. I was expecting like just mass like unsubs or like something like that, and that just never happened. If anything, I grew, which was weird. I didn't think that would be a thing at all, but it is what it is, right? And I figured like today would just be a good time to do it. Considering that today I didn't have anything going on, I wasn't working, I was just playing games really. So I figured, okay, yeah, today would work really well as long as the fireworks are not, super abundant right outside my window. I think it would work, and here I am. But I've been playing, fun enough, the entire day today I have been playing The Last of Us 2. Part two, I guess. I don't know specific naming. And it's okay. I think I know it's a very controversial game right now because it seems like critics and players are like very divided. Or I know there's like a certain amount is like because of the like certain of the user scores, right? Specifically, are pretty much for the wrong reasons. While some, I believe, some are for the right reasons, but some are not. If you get my drift, uh, and I don't know. I never understood the whole concept of like I really want this game to fail, so I'm just gonna go out and fucking dislike everything related to it and review bomb it even if I played it or not, or whatever the case is in that sense. Like if you genuinely don't like the story, that's one thing. If you genuinely don't like the gameplay, that's another. If it has anything to do with like let's just say representation as a whole, then I think it's kind of a stupid reason. But I mean, hey, I've played. I want to say like 4 to 5 hours worth of the game, and it seems okay. Nothing about the game kind of sticks out to me as a masterpiece. In some cases, I like the first one more, but I mean, I'm only in the first I think 4 to 5 hours of the game, so I don't really expect it to, blow my mind in such an early time span. Although I will say, like in those first 4 to 5 hours, like the majority of my time has either been watching a cutscene or walking and talking with another character. So it's not a lot of like action going on. I think I've had some action, but it's nowhere near as much as there is walking and talking, if that makes sense. So if you get into this game, if you're somebody who wants to play The Last of Us 2, you really need to be into the characters, because if you're not into the characters, you're gonna be so just like so bored. You're gonna be so, because I feel games that do that can work if the characters have a lot of charisma, charm, and they just kind of like connect with the player. You can get away with conversation being a big part of it if the conversations are genuinely like pretty entertaining, and people like the characters. The problem I'm having is that while I like Ellie, the other person there, I don't really care about too much. So I don't really feel like it earns a lot of that time it uses to, have those conversations, if that makes sense. So it's very hit or miss with a lot of those conversations for me, and I just don't care half the time. So it's okay. It is. I'm playing through The Last of Us 2. It's not a bad game, but it's not necessarily a great game either. Not gonna be the year for me. I'll wait for Tsushima. Yeah, I feel like it's just mid. That's what it feels like to me. It feels mid. Because again, when it's a game that's so focused on story and characters and detail, if you don't happen to connect with the story and if you don't happen to connect with the characters, it's very hard to like the game. And I would say certain things that are in the first Last of Us are not in this game. So it feels like there's certain things that just kind of removed from the game for whatever reason. I think the most I liked about Last of Us 2 in particular is the fact that like certain sections are kind of open and not like open-ended. You still have to do the same things every single time, right? But you at least have like a choice to do like this particular objective first versus doing it immediately, if that makes sense. Splatter, hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? Good to see you. But yeah, like that's kind of just what it feels like. I like that because I like games that give me a little bit of choice, but knowing that it's still linear, knowing that I still have to do the exact same things, and have to traverse through locations the same way every time, it's good. I mean, it's like I said, it's not the best game, but I think people who feel like it's genuinely like a 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 is a little bit harsh. Like I don't think it's that bad so far. Until I have to keep playing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know about the game that makes it suddenly bad, right? But as far as I'm concerned, the game just seems decent. Just seems okay. Seems all right. And I don't know. I don't really have any issues with Ghost of Tsushima. I don't really have a lot of interest in either, to be honest with you. But if I play it, I play it. It is what it is. But I know on what is it, Monday? I believe Monday. Yeah. The 22nd Monday, we have the Super Smash Brothers Arms presentation specifically. So I think that'll be kind of cool because I just want new Smash content because if you watched my recent video about my mindset when it comes to Smash, online is not it. Like online doesn't make me want to continue playing, and considering that we've been on this whole quarantine thing for like I don't even know how long. Like how long has it been? Like months now. It's kind of stupid, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do to take care of yourselves. And please, if you're watching this, please take care of yourself. It's really important. But yo, like I can't play Smash online. Like no, having one of my favorite games have terrible online in a world where you cannot meet up with people, and it's torture. Like it feels like borderline torture to try to play that game on Wi-Fi. So what I do is I don't play it on Wi-Fi. I don't join Wi-Fi tournaments because if something annoys me and pisses me off or whatever the case is, why force it? You know what I mean? Like why force it? So just play it the way that you enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just do what you gotta do. Don't feel like buying Fighter Pass 2 yet. I'm waiting for a more interesting character, and I think that's a totally fair way to do it. I know a lot of people who do that because, like, I'll be straight up. Like the Arms character, I like Arms. I know a mass majority of people don't like Arms, or maybe they just never played it. I don't know, whatever the case is, but they just couldn't care less about Arms. So seeing that as the first character, I could see why. I could definitely see why. It's not a popular game by any means, so seeing like that sort of thing, yeah, I think that's a totally fair way to go about it. You know, Osri, oh my, Osri's here. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you. It's good to see you. And like, an Osri, I'm happy to see you, man. We gotta talk more. Maybe in the Discord we'll do that. You know, mobile. Let me see. I was about to start going to local tournaments, then the pandemic happened, and who knows when it's going to end. Yeah, that's the issue. Like, I'd rather like, I don't know if you again, if you watch my most recent video about my Smash mindset, I don't go to tournaments super often. I go once in a blue moon if I have the time or if I feel like it could be fun. Because I have more fun playing Smash when it's just kind of like me messing around rather than like taking like a very serious thing, taking it as a very serious thing, I should say. But you can't. It's not even an option now, you know. But you also have to take care of yourselves. I think I saw an advertisement somewhere on Twitter about a tournament that was like happening soon-ish. Like it was what's the word? Like what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's fucking like they were doing a local tournament despite the pandemic, and I'm like, is that really the best idea? Like, is it the best idea? I'm not an expert, but I don't think the Smash competitive scene is necessarily an expert either. I've been seeing that The Last of Us 2 is some trash booty cheeks. Yeah, I was just talking about it. And like, I was saying, so far it seems mid. Like so far, I don't see anything. Linkachu, hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you. And by the way, if you guys are not aware, Linkachu is one of the many YouTubers who appeared in the Where's Shifty intro video. So if you haven't seen that, go see it and maybe check out Linkachu if you are interested in what he has to offer. Well, I mean, there is literal booty cheeks in the game, if you know what I mean. I mean, yeah, I can, yeah. That is definitely a thing. that is definitely a thing. I don't know, like Last of Us 2. I'm not shit talking it by any means. I want to make that clear. Like I'm not shit talking it. God, I can't talk. I'm stupid. Fuck me. I'm not shit talking it primarily because I've only played like 4 to 5 hours of the game. Maybe 6. I'm not entirely sure how much hours I have. I haven't checked. I'm just making random estimates. So I don't want to say like, oh, for sure this game is complete fucking garbage and shit. You know what I mean? Or at the same time call it like a masterpiece and shit. Because I just haven't played that long, and I don't think that's very fair to. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't think it's very fair for me to judge if I just barely played it. But yeah, I have some grievances with it. I don't think it's as good as critics have made it out to be, but I don't think it's complete garbage. Like I can see some people who would enjoy this. I don't know. It seems okay. Seems mid so far. Maybe if it gets better or worse, I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know. I know mad heads that got Rona. That shit ain't something to play with. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I have to. I don't know if you guys saw. I posted. What is this shit at? I have like this a specific mask that lets me like use it when I'm inside of like a freezer or some shit. Because some masks, not all of them, when you're inside of a freezer, like some cold ass temperatures, you start getting like that mask gets all fucking gross as shit. It gets really gross. It's just gross. It's really gross because it makes like a little mini pool of like your own like breath. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just wet, cold, and damp. And it's not even from like water. It's like the combination of like the cold and your breath, and it just makes the mask just like this little puddle, and it's disgusting. So I had to get like a specific mask because at my job I have to work in a freezer for several hours. So it's disgusting, in other words. Yeah, exactly, Osri. It's extremely disgusting. So like this whole like whether it's my job, whether it's YouTube, and whatever the fuck it is, it's changed like so many things that I've had to do as well as, let alone like other people. And I see Fahad has entered the chat. Hello, Fahad. How do, my good friend? How do you do? I'm just chilling for the most part. It's good to see you. Good to see you. How do we have 8 viewers on here already? Like, y'all some fucking some legends. I don't know. I don't like. Listen, I was like totally expecting to go live today and just see that like there was nobody like watching. Like I was totally prepared for that. Actually, let me see if I get some music on now that I have the opportunity to. What the fuck? What music? I guess this works. I don't know. This is my usual background music, so I guess this might work. I don't know if you guys can hear that though. All right, but yeah, I was playing Persona 5 Royal and saw that Shifty stream was happening. Yeah, let me see. Freezer sounds nice after the heat waves I've been getting lately. Yo, bro, it's getting hot, and don't get me wrong, like it's kind of nice, but the second you stay in a freezer for more than, I want to say like 10-15 minutes, you're already like way colder than you were hot outside. Like you have to be wearing like a full ass, like wearing all black like I usually do, with a big ass jacket, coat and shit in the dead of summer to feel just maybe as cold. Because the freezer is like, I want to say negative 20 degrees. Well, not negative 20, like negative 15 or some shit like that. Like it's super cold in there. I need to get Persona 5 Royal though. I'm not gonna get it for a full price though. Like I don't think it's worth full price. I'll get it like when it's 20 at most. Maybe I'll take that back. Maybe 30 at most. But 20 is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 20. I had Rona. It wasn't pleasant and it sucked. I hope no one gets it because it was hell. Yeah, that's the thing. Like again, please take care of yourselves because shit's not a game out there. You know what I mean? Like it's very fucking serious. And I worked at an ice cream shop a few years ago. When you're in the constant AC for hours on end, that sucks. Now, yeah, imagine, I don't know what kind of thing the ice cream shop was, but what I work in is not like, it's not like a regular room with an AC. It's like a big ass, it's a freezer. Like it's a giant ass walk-in freezer that it's to the point where like there's like fucking icicle stalactite shit like coming off of the ceiling of where the doors enter from, and just ice all over the place. Like it's cold as fuck. Like I don't think they can make it any colder. We literally have to wear like devices that if we don't respond after a while, it's just like they will set an alarm because they assume you passed the fuck out and are getting hypothermia or whatever the fuck is going on. So it's very cold. If that doesn't make it already obvious. I paid like $15 for Kasumi's outfits. Yeah, I can't do that. Like, I like Persona. Don't get me wrong. I like it, but I can't. For me, that's like buying an Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon kind of thing where you just get more content, but it's the same game more or less. Like, I'm not doing that. That's too much. MF's is dead ass outside like it's nothing happening. Yeah. One of the, like, I was talking about it earlier, Ozzy. Like, one of the main fucking reasons I couldn't stream for like the first, because when I was saying it earlier, but I'll go through it as quick as I can for people who just got here. When I posted that Where is Shifty video, the original plan of mine was to have those videos that I did put out, put out on time, but also having streams in between those. The problem, however, was that people were shooting fireworks right outside my window. And I mean, like, right there. Like, it popped my eardrum at one point. Like, it was right there, right? And they're not firing up into the air. They're firing at each other. So, if I was live streaming, that shit would, like, pop into the fucking audio so bad. At least that's what I saw when I was recording, like, regular videos. So, it was really bad. It was really bad. Like, it was not ideal. So I decided to wait it out on the live streaming front, but also still record videos, because at least in a regular video I can just cut out the fireworks part of it. So it was a lot easier in that sense. But yeah, people were just being dumb outside. So yeah, I hate when people hear we're reopening and starting to open up more people. Let's party and go to bars. Bro, I have friends who work at bars, and they already have people, like, clamoring for drinks. Like, people really want these shits to open. And I get it. Like, I understand it. Like solitude is not for everyone. Like, I'm extremely introverted. Most of what I do on my own free time is inside, right? Like, I'm not going... I don't really go out to parties like that. I mean, if I'm invited to a party, I'll go out and do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll go out to a party. But I don't actively look out to party. I don't actively look out to go do shit outside or whatever the case is, or go to events. I just go to them whenever I feel like it, like if I'm in the mood, right? But now with this whole quarantine thing going on, I can see, like, people who are a little more extroverted, or maybe even some introverts I've seen, are just not handling staying inside at all. And it's like, I understand that it's hard. I get it. But please take care of yourselves, and please take care of the people around you. If you care about those around you, including your own family, wear a mask, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, hand sanitizer, all that good shit. And it's what it is, you know what I'm saying? But I understand, like, I get it, like, I understand that shit's not easy, that shit's hard. I get it, I also don't really like it when people don't wear a mask. I have so many different masks at this point in time, because I was trying to find a mask that works at my job without it being gross. I didn't find out one. If you go to my Twitter, I posted a picture of the mask that I ended up having to use, and it's only because, like, the moisture in the air that would get into the mask would go inside, like, these little filters, so it just didn't... It wasn't a thing. Like, it wasn't a problem. Like, it kind of covered me on that front, 2020 is gonna suck hard. Yeah, it definitely is. And that's a pretty good motivator, I guess, for doing the YouTube stuff, doing the streams and shit like that. And I'm not entirely sure how long this will last. I don't even think, even like Gail was mentioning experts. Experts don't know either. Like they have an idea, but they don't know for sure, with 100% clarity that the shit will end when they think it'll end. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta stay vigilant on this sort of thing. And again, the biggest focus: take care of yourselves. Ozzy even said, like, he misses a drink with the boys, but he wouldn't do that shit. And it's like, I understand if you are so used to going outside and doing shit that this will be hard, and it is. I get it. I know people who are having, like, issues, like, trying to cope with, like, this particular new way of life, I suppose, and it's hard. I get it. And it's just, with me, I'm not too affected by it, other than my job and that sort of thing. But in terms of, like, me being inside and my mental health staying inside, I'm all right for the most part. Well, I know there was a team that was literally warning Trump about how we're going to get another pandemic if we follow trends and watch how history always repeats itself. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I'm just on my end, I'm just going to do the best that I can do in terms of, like, taking care of myself, taking care of my family, taking the necessary precautions if I can. If for any reason I have to go meet up with anyone in particular, you know, you do everything you gotta do. You wear your mask. You gotta do everything you can do to take care of yourselves. And and here's the thing, I will never, ever claim that I am an expert in anything, and I mean anything. Like because I have people come to me like, "Yo, Shifter, you should help me get good at Smash. You should help me get good at Smash." And I don't know if I've ever, like, whenever those fight clubs were a thing, I don't know if there's anyone in this chat that I genuinely helped get better at Smash. I genuinely don't know, right? If I did or not, right? But what I can say is that it doesn't fucking matter what I'm talking about. I'm not an expert. There's always somebody who knows more than me, and I feel like it's always important for me to like try to take down what others who are more well versed in maybe in their respective fields, and just listen and try to take that criticism and try to take that information and try to interpret it as best as I possibly can for the limited knowledge that I happen to have. Like, that's what, you know, learning to take care of myself, learning how to get better at games, or learning anything really. I'm going off on a tangent. I feel like that has nothing to do with anything. But let me see. Honestly, I'm just going to take care of myself and my family, yeah, and just wear a mask, limit public exposure to help other people as well. Yeah. You know, that's what you got to do. Mobile, I got a little better from fighting. Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. You know, I don't know. I feel like that's my goal. Well, that was mostly my goal when it comes to like playing people, is just tell them, like, if they want to hear it, you know, hey, you know, don't do this, try doing this instead, whatever the case is. Or maybe some people just need matches to you know, get better. Everyone learns differently. Everyone gets better at certain things faster than others, you know. So that's good. I'm happy to hear that you have gotten better from that experience, Mobile. Fuck you, Shifty 3 stuck in me head. That says he's not good. I think that was one. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but fireworks are already starting outside. I hope it's not too loud for you guys. If there's any audio, anything that I can do to help it out, let me know if it's too loud or anything. But it's not too bad yet, but I hear them outside. But I'm honestly not very good. I'm not the best Smash player. There's many players who are better than me. In terms of my track record on like streams and whatnot, in terms of, you know, you guys coming through here, I don't think there's anyone who's come to these streams that have been better than me enough to say that, like, oh yeah, that guy's just a better player. You know what I mean? I feel like even the best players who have showed up here time and time again are well, either at the very least even, or you know, like they vary, right? But I don't think there's ever been someone who's came to these streams that just kind of like cleaned house and beat everyone without much effort, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm happy to see that there was more learning than there was just stomping out. So that's nice. That being said, next week is going to be wild in the gaming front. Yes, actually, that's great. I believe Monday we have the Smash ARMS reveal. I know there is a summer games event thing somewhere around there, but to be honest, it's kind of hard to keep track of that shit, because no one talks about it much. Like, I feel like people only talk about the summer game event streams specifically when they hear something they like, but otherwise they don't talk much about it. I mean, if they announce something cool, then I'll be there. Like, I'll be happy, and that's great, right? And I think other than that, there's also the Pokemon, I want to call it like a presentation happening as well, and I think that'll, I'm suspicious of that. I'm suspicious of it, primarily because why separate it from the first one, right? If it's not anything big, I feel like it has to be something big, because if it's, you had a presentation, right? And then you decide to use that presentation to mention that you're going to do another presentation just a week later. Why would you do that unless you didn't have the time? Like, it makes me feel like it must be a big thing, right? And the reason why they didn't talk about it initially in the first presentation was because maybe they felt like it would be too long. Maybe, like, I don't know, maybe they thought it would be like 40-something minutes. Pokemon Company just thinks that's too long for, you know, paying attention to a presentation. So maybe they felt like, okay, let's just make a smaller 10-minute one for all the smaller titles, right? And then make the big announcement, make the big announcement that takes up like a huge chunk of time, its own thing, right? Its own presentation. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Obviously not. I don't know. But if that happens, I get it. I feel like it makes sense. Although Pokemon Company and Nintendo can kind of just do whatever they want at this point, I feel. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't. I'm just waiting for Min Min and Dr. Koyo to make the roster. I will say, I think Dr. Koyo or Ribbon Girl. Ribbon Girl just because she's like the closest to being the main character that's not Springman. And Dr. Koyo because villain. I think adding villains is interesting or fun. But I think Min Min makes sense. I think Min Min makes sense because I think she won the that ARMS Party Crash event thing. I know that's like the popular belief when it comes to that in particular. Yeah, if Min Min gets in, that makes sense. I just want like, I want either more villains or, yeah, I don't know. I just think like Dr. Koyo makes sense, Ribbon Girl makes sense, Springman makes sense, but it's gonna shift some conversations. Let's just say that, like, it'll shift some conversations. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the YouTuber Andres Restart, but I talked about this on his podcast not too long ago. I think it was like maybe a few weeks ago. That regardless of who gets in from ARMS, it's going to change several Smash conversations because you know how people in the Smash community are very, for lack of a better word, obsessed with the rules that Sakurai must have in place. Even though I'm pretty sure the only rule in place is that it has to be a game character, right? But the conversations tied to what character gets in is going to shift dramatically regardless of who gets in or not. Primarily because there's always been two almost unspoken rules that I've seen in Smash speculation, which is if it's a brand new franchise or brand new game being represented, they always have the main character, right? Like when the first time they represented Xenoblade, they had Shulk, right? If they're representing Dragon Quest, they had 4 of the main characters, right? If they're representing Persona 5, because keep in mind, they're representing 5 specifically. They don't say Persona, they say 5, right? So they represent, you know, a Joker. They don't really pick a side character first. So with that being said, if it's not Springman and let's say it's Min Min, that'll be a first in that sense that a lot of people will shift the conversation to. And then if you go by the idea that Springman gets in, I know Mobile was mentioning in the chat that Springman will be the character and that Springtron will take over the assist trophy. I think that makes sense. And it would also shift a different conversation because it will no longer have anything to do with main characters, but now it'll have something to do with assist trophies. Like assist trophy characters can become playable within the same game, you know, and they can also be edited or, you know, changed to fit the new version of the game, right? So it seems like regardless of who gets in from ARMS, one of these two particular conversation pieces when it comes to like the speculative Smash conversation is going to shift dramatically in favor of that, like to change accordingly. The way I look at it is that I'm not someone who typically cares too much about the speculative side of things. I just like playing the game and having fun with it. So whoever gets in, I think it'll be interesting to see how it changes things, but I don't think it'll change as much. Because here's the thing. At the current time that we are in when it comes to Smash Brothers, right? I can't say when exactly that started. Maybe after Brawl. I'll say around then, right? You can make the argument against or for nearly any character at this point in time. Like, let's say you want Bandana D, right? You have so many people who will tell you, like, oh, why would I want Goomba with a hat? And then you would have the same argument with Piranha Plant. And then people can make the argument of, like, oh, I want Geno. Oh, he hasn't been relevant in years. Oh, and then people are going to mention Banjo. Or they're going to mention other characters who are in the game, like Ice Climbers and Game & Watch and all these other characters. I just feel like when it comes to that conversation, whether it's confirmations or deconfirmations and that sort of thing, arguments can be made for nearly everyone. for nearly everyone. And I just feel like it's very difficult to pinpoint that, you know? So for me, the way I look at it, unless the character is not a video game character, chances are that character has an argument for it. It probably does. If you really think about it, every character has an argument for itself. Maybe some are stronger than others, sure, but for the most part, it's about the same. Like, everyone, you can try your hardest to deconfirm or confirm anyone, and you could basically make, you know, you can make an argument for any character. You can. I just want to see the arms fighter range, since they're gonna have so much range. I think they'll be very laggy. It's possible. I can definitely see that, and I can see them having like a command grab that goes very far. Considering in arms, if for those who haven't played it, you can grab from pretty much just as far as you can punch. So I can see them having like a grab that just goes up super far. What I'm wondering is if we will get another big Mii costume like Sans or Cuphead. I think that's gonna be a norm now. I think every pack is gonna have. Let's refer to them as premium costumes, because that's how I've always thought of them as. So let's just that's just for the sake of conversation. Let's call them premiums. I think every character from this point forward is gonna have one premium Mii costume, because ever since Sans has done that, Cuphead has also done that, and I feel like that's like a new expectation they've set now, because they did it 2 times in a row. If they did it once and they were done, alright, fair. But they did it twice in a row. I feel like that's like a new expectation. If they don't do it, I'm not gonna be disappointed that much, because it's just a Mii costume. But I feel like they've started a trend there, and or a pattern or sense. I mean, patterns don't mean much when it comes to these sort of things, but I think we're gonna see another premium one, and I think it's gonna continue for each pack from this point forward. Who knows? We might see a Hollow Knight one. We might see an Ori. We might see whoever, you know. And if it keeps being indie games, that'll be cool. You know, how it helps the indies get a lot more representation. I'm kind of glad for an ARMS character. I think ARMS really got thrown under the bus, and it needs a boost. Crash for Smash. Hopefully they make an ARMS too and makes changes. Also, can't wait to hear Twitter burning over the character getting in. Then you have the people who are going to post hoes mad for the upteenth time. Yeah, that joke stopped being funny. Like, it stopped being funny a long time ago. But like, ARMS, I think, and this is a bit of a hot take. It's probably a hot take, probably not. I don't know. Depends on who you are. It doesn't really matter. I think ARMS as a game is probably one of the most underrated Switch games. I'm not saying it's one of the best by any means. I just feel like the amount of attention it gets compared to how good the game is, like the quality of the game, I feel is like it's like it doesn't match. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't fucking match. Like, you have like I don't know, man. I just feel like what the quality of the game is, and the amount of attention and the amount of like hate the game gets flinged at it, doesn't match like the fucking quality that the game puts out. I don't know. I'm not sitting here to say it's the best thing ever. It's not. It definitely has issues, and it needs a lot more content. But for what it is, it's not bad. It reminds me a lot of like the first Splatoon in terms of just barely having shit to do. Except the first Splatoon blew up a lot more, so you know there's a lot more content that came. They put a Sora Mii costume, Twitter will burn. I think it'll be funny, and at least we'll have a song. You know, Shovel Knight costume. Shovel Knight has a costume? No, he doesn't have a costume. Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, I feel like Steve will end up as a costume. That would be cool, but I'm trying to wonder, because like every premium Mii costume has a song, right? So what would be the Mii costume in that? Not the Mii costume, the Mii song. In that sense, because a lot of Minecraft's music is very chill, unless they do like a very drastic remix, and then maybe you can have a song there. Because as battle music, it's not gonna work. I think ARMS is cool. I was scared of buying it and that it was going to get boring, but it does look fun. I just think they need a better story mode. Yeah, they need a better single player. And I think, and keep in mind that when it comes to like fighting games and that sort of thing, a lot of single players are not all that. And this is gonna, I mean, if you guys don't play these games, it's probably gonna sound stupid or whatever the case is. But in terms of story mode, like cinematography and characters and dialogue and actually making it feel like it's a big deal, like it's actually a big part of the game, the only one that I feel does the best job when it comes to that is NetherRealm. NetherRealm Studios, Mortal Kombat or Injustice. They do a really good job at making a campaign for a fighting game that feels like a big deal. You know, and a lot of other fighting games, the single player content always feels supplementary. If I said that right, I might have butchered that word. Like, it feels like it doesn't need to be there, but it's there to give you something to do. That's what it feels like for a lot of them. But NetherRealm Studios' single player fighting game content, like their campaigns, is great. Like, it genuinely has great story. I'm not gonna say it's the best story of all time. You know, it's not exactly trying to be a cinematic masterpiece, but it's good single player content. It's good, you know? And I think when you make a fighting game, the best thing you can do is make the fighting in itself fun, have a lot of single player content for people who are not into the competitive scene, and have a god tier netcode. Have Rollback. Play fucking Killer Instinct. If you want a good netcode, play Killer Instinct. It's fucking superb online. Amazing online. It's super good. And it's not even just Killer KI. Mortal Kombat, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what Smash has. Smash is abysmal. It is abysmal by comparison. I want Shantae and 2B in Smash. I'll be cool with them. I'm not super big on 2B, but I like Shantae. But I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's not a single character that I think I would get genuinely angry about if they made it in. Arms could have a nice story. They could make some better game modes, maybe. I feel like they need like a good story. I feel like Splatoon. Here's the thing with Splatoon, right? Splatoon is another game that's multiplayer focused, right? But it has single player content anyways. Do I think it's very good? No. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think Splatoon single player is mostly boring. I think the best single player Splatoon had was the Octo expansion. I think the Octo expansion was the best they've ever had. You know? And it's a factor of it's just what you do in the game doesn't seem all that exciting to me. Like, there's not a lot of story content happening. It just feels like you're playing a lot of like challenges or modes in a sense. But because of the extra challenge of Octo expansion, I enjoyed it more, I think. What if this happens? Since they gave ARMS a free trial, what if they add DLC to ARMS with a new character and that character gets in? Oh, you mean like a new DLC character to ARMS, and then they add that character to Smash? I think that would be very controversial. I'm not. I mean, it could happen. I don't think so, though. I feel like they're gonna pick a character people know about, because I think like if you like, because it'll definitely be an advertisement, kind of like a Corrin or like Byleth situation, I guess. So I think that's kind of what it is. You know what I mean? Like I think it's gonna be a character that's good, like that's well known. Well known when it comes to ARMS is a bit of a a take there, but I don't think it'll be a brand new character. I think it'll be like an ARMS character that we know about already. According to Crash Game got confirmed. Yeah, it got leaked. Yeah, that's great news, by the way. That's great news. You keep saying that when Brawl's Online makes Ultimates Online look like a masterpiece. Yeah, but that's comparing a Wii game to a Switch game. Like, I don't think that's a fair comparison, personally speaking. Because I played Brawl's Online. I also played Smash 4's Online, and I played Ultimates Online. I've also played online games in a multitude of different genres, and consoles, platforms of all kinds. The problem with Ultimates Online isn't that it's not better than a game from 2 generations ago. The problem is that for its time, it's very bad. That's what it is. That's the problem. Because if we still had, let's say, if we had hypothetically Ultimate, we're back on these Shifty Stream Deep convos. Hell yeah, bro. The thing is, if we had Ultimates Online back during the Wii era, I want to say like, what was that, 2008, 2009 or so? The only fighting game competition in that era was, fuck me, what even? Because I know fighting games had a bit of a, I want to say a hiatus. Like they just were not as popular as they used to be until Street Fighter 4 released, and then like it sort of like revitalized that genre in like modern gaming, right? And that was in 2008. Okay, so yeah, so it's been quite some time. And if Ultimates Online was the Brawl was 2008, yeah, and then Street Fighter 4 released around the same time. So the point is that Brawl's Online was terrible. I'm not knocking that at all, right? However, it's not, for me, the problem is not necessarily comparison to generations ago. It's an improvement, sure, but in terms of like what's considered the norm, it's not good. And that's the issue, because this is not the same online we've had in other fighting games since '08. You know, Street Fighter 4 did not have the same netcode that Street Fighter 5 has now, right? Is Street Fighter 5 perfect? No, but if you look at, like, say, Evo Online, ironically, Street Fighter 5, in terms of the main stage games that are there now, is probably the best one there in terms of netcode. And that's not good. This is a testament to not just Ultimate Online, but to fighting games as a whole. Because if you compare it to, say, the best there is, or even like what's considered the low tier of what we have now in terms of fighters, it's still bottom of the barrel. You know, it's like I'm not saying Ultimate Online is flawless, far from it. Yeah, it's not flawless. Like, it's genuinely a what's the word I'm looking for? An improvement, you know? Like, it's genuinely an improvement from Brawl, but that's a very low bar to set. You know what I mean? It's a very low bar to set, and I love Smash, so I want the best for it. You know, like, I really do. I really want. And the main issue is that even if you go to, like, Evo, it's still, when it comes to, like, modern expectations, it's not there. You know, like, it's not where it needs to be. And a lot of fighting games aren't. You know, one of the things that you need good rollback netcode for a lot of fighting games to work well online, right? And that's kind of the main thing. Like, a lot of Japanese, now some are starting to accept it, but it took a lot of Japanese developers a lot of time to kind of accept rollback. Like, a lot of them, like Capcom specifically, for example, they just want to do their thing. You know, they want to do what works for them. To the point where when a modder fixed Street Fighter 5 netcode, they patched out the better netcode and replaced it with their own garbage. You know, like, Nintendo is not the only ones, right? But the problem is that they're kind of the bottom when it comes to it right now. So, if it's hard, because rollback is not an easy thing to explain, and it's not an easy thing to implement either, depending on the platforms that are trying to implement it. But like like I said, I've played a bunch of different fighting games. I'm not gonna claim I was good at any of them, but I've played a bunch of them, and you know, I think, to my knowledge, Killer Instinct, and I mean the one available on PC and Xbox One, and I think that's it that it's on. That game has probably the best netcode I've ever seen in a fighting game. And I'm not gonna, and again, I haven't played every single fighting game, but I think that has the best one I've seen so far. And Smash Ultimate, the main problem it has is a combination of its online and its buffer system. It's not just one, it's both. You can genuinely get what is 7 to 9 frames of input lag in between each attack, and that could be your best case scenario, you know. But some of these Japanese developers, they just don't implement rollback. They prefer having their own, you know, specific netcode. Zama's deep diving. Hey, Chef Cthulhu here. Just went through a profile update so I can make some serious content. Oh, you making serious content now? I respect that, bro. I respect that hustle. I like that. I watched a friend play that online KI. It was amazing, bro. KI is, I'm telling you, like, if you play fighting games and you have played KI online, it is phenomenal. It is the best I've ever seen. There are probably, and the thing is, like, Killer Instinct uses good rollback netcode, so it's fantastic, you know. So how does rollback roll? Is that is that a serious question? And I don't mean that like in the sense of like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean that in the sense of like, that question just sounded funny when I read it out loud, so I don't know if it was a serious question or not. And yeah, and like I said, it's not just Nintendo with that mindset. Capcom has done it. Ironically, I believe, I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I think Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has a better netcode than Street Fighter 5. which sucks because it's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. You know, like it's not it's not exactly the best game in the world, but it has a better netcode, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Too bad KI's gameplay is the most complicated I've ever witnessed. It's not. I'll say like I would argue. I'm not sure. How does it work? Oh, okay. All right. So it was a genuine question. Okay. So let me get to what Gilligan's saying about KI, and I'll get to UKJ. So KI's gameplay can be complicated, but it has. I would say Tekken, in my opinion, is the most complicated. I'll say Tekken is the most complicated. By a long shot, in my opinion. But here's the thing though, like everyone's different. Everyone learns and adapts to like certain like mechanics differently than others. So like if it's complicated for you, that's perfectly fair. For me, it's Tekken because Korean backdashing is the most impossible fucking thing. I can never do that shit in Tekken. It's ridiculous. But KI, like I had a decent like experience of KI in terms of like learning its mechanics. It's a lot of guessing whether the other guy's doing a medium in the middle of a combo, doing a combo breaker, knowing if the other guy's gonna know it and do a counter breaker, and stuff like that. But yeah. Now, ironically, Tekken is the easiest to get used to. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Like for you, Tekken is easier. For me, I had an easier time playing KI, and Tekken for me was it's harder for me. But yeah, like it varies depending on the person, depending on the game. Some people just kind of gravitates to certain games easier than others, right? Like I gravitated to Smash very easily, but my friends who have been playing fighting games for like the last 20 years will have trouble picking up Smash, and can pick up like King of Fighters like super easily, so it varies, so that's fair. So Rollback, it's hard to explain it because I'm not an expert on netcode, right? I can only tell you like how on average the game performs online. But genuinely, when you have let's say regular I'm just gonna call it regular netcode because again I don't work in networking. So I don't know the exact terminology and shit. But when you have like a regular netcode, right, what happens is that let's say you're playing Smash, right, and let's say somebody runs up to you and does side smash, right? So in your controller, you hit, let's say, side tilt. You get the guy off of you, and normally you would hit that person, right? So in a regular netcode game, how this situation would pan out is that it will send input to the other switch and then send it back, right? So that it confirms like this button was pressed. So if the guy runs up to you, he has the side smash input. That input was sent to your switch, and then it's sent back. So it's like, okay, this is happening. This is what's happening in this current moment, right? The problem with that kind of netcode, right, is that if there's any hiccup, let's say the second switch does not respond. Let's say your side tilt doesn't come out for some reason. You know why that happened? Because what happens is that the original netcode sends that signal out, but it was never received, or maybe it, there was lag, so that the input was essentially 8, and so that input was never read in the first place. It could be like shit like that, right? So for that reason, as far as the game is aware, you never press that button, and it never does anything to make up for that, right? And so Rollback essentially fixes that issue, right? So what Rollback does is that in that same situation is let's say you're doing that side tilt, same situation, guy runs up to you, he's about to do a side smash, you do side tilt to knock the guy off of you, right? What Rollback does, right, is that it reads the input and it essentially tries to know what that input would mean, right? Right? So let's say every time you've pressed the button, and every time he's done that, you would do side tilt, and it works every single time, right? It'll read that input, and it will make that prediction that, okay, he's gonna hit him, and then let's say it lags like any other Rollback does, and that Rollback, any other online game would do, right? It won't eat the input. It still has your input there. It keeps your input. Essentially what happens is that either it's going to let it happen, right, or it'll correct it. And that sounds weird. It sounds very weird in practice. And again, I'm not exactly an expert when it comes to netcode, networking, and that sort of thing, right? There are people out there who can explain it like a million times better than I can. But essentially, Rollback fixes the issue by not reading it. It'll give you what you want because it assumes that the input you pressed should still be happening. So if you pressed it right before the internet went, like, you know, like it just had a hiccup for like a second, it doesn't eat the input, it keeps the input, and then it just assumes that everything that's happening in between the moment that it lagged until it comes back will be exactly the same as it was being played out when you weren't doing it, right? Before it happened. So it goes, okay, what was the last inputs pressed? Oh, side tilt. We're just going to assume that that's what it works, so that's what's going to come out, right? And if for some reason it gets it wrong, what it does is that it makes like the frame what was it? It makes like the frames, it fixes it using the frames, so it's like it doesn't turn into anything that it shouldn't have. It kind of just like corrects it in a way that it should be the case most of the time. Now, is Rollback perfect? Hell no. Rollback is not perfect, but what it is that it is, like KJ said in the chat, significantly better. It's significantly better because it no longer just pretends like literally nothing's happening, and instead just assumes what is happening before will happen later. So it if that side tilt you pressed was pressed, the game knows it was pressed, and it's going to make the assumption that it was, that because he pressed it, that's what comes out. It's not gonna just assume that, you know, it doesn't just forget it, if that makes sense. It doesn't just forget the input was pressed or anything like that. It doesn't eat your input, for lack of a better term. But yeah, it does sound weird, and it probably sounds weird because it's coming from me, let's be honest here. I believe who was it? I think there was other YouTubers who have also spoken about it. There is a very good video that also speaks briefly about the exact problem with Smash's netcode, who did a very good job in like describing Rollback. The problem with Rollback though is that for a game to use Rollback, it needs like a certain level of power behind it. Primarily because if it's going to make this assumption that it's going on, the game's kind of, in a way, I guess, it's probably not the correct term, but it's kind of like running in the background in a way. Yeah, it's just better with input because it doesn't just eat it, you know, like it assumes that the input that was pressed is what's going to happen, so it'll just do it, you know, it'll just like almost like autopilot at that point for like a half a second, and then it just goes back to whatever game, you know, whatever the usual connection was, like, you know. So it's weird, it's complicated, but it's better. And I think the main problem with Smash Ultimate is that Smash Ultimate is very, very pretty looking for the Switch, you know, like it looks very good for the Switch. It runs at 1080p 60 frames per second, and it looks good while running that well, you know. And for that reason, I think putting like Rollback is something that you can't just update the game with, though, you know. So it's something with the Switch would have an issue with, probably. It depends on the game. It depends how demanding the game is, and how much the Rollback requires, because I don't know how much it requires. I'm not a developer. So that hair. So I can't tell you like with complete certainty that it's too much for the Switch. I'm someone who believes the Switch can do a lot. It just, you know, needs a good amount of what's the word, like work done to get like a lot bigger, more ambitious games to, you know, work on the system. Like we've got like massive games that work on the system, you know, some current gen games in that case, and they run fine. I mean, not perfect, but they run fine, right? And Rollback specifically is something that kind of requires like the game to be running, you know, like kind of in the background, so that way like when it's making that assumption, it's kind of like implementing that backup in a sense. I don't know, it's so weird to explain, bro. There's people way more qualified to explain this shit to you guys. I'll just leave it at that. But for the most part, like, it is something that requires a certain amount of power behind it, and because of how great Smash Ultimate is on the Switch in terms of like how it runs, how it looks, all that good stuff. I'm not sure if rollback is something you can do, because rollback is not something you can update a game for. Like, at least to my knowledge, maybe there is, and maybe somebody will know a game that has done this. But to my knowledge, every game that utilizes rollback was designed to implement it from the beginning. Like, I'll say this too, like, rollback is not something that's needed to make like an online perfect, but it helps in a ton. And there are games that have rollback that are not perfect either. But I think like Killer Instinct just has the best like utilization of rollback that I've personally seen. Again, there may have been other games that use it that, you know, that I'm not aware of, that maybe is even better than KI, but that's just from my personal experience. I believe ARMS has rollback, if I'm not mistaken. When I did the demo, the online is next to perfect. I'm gonna personally say I doubt it, not because the game has bad online, because it's pretty good most of the time in my experience when it comes to ARMS. Although I have not played it recently, so I can't judge it in terms of like how it's been lately. But what I will say is I don't think rollback is a thing there. Only because I have a hard time believing Nintendo, because Nintendo does have this very mindset, right, that they want to do things their own way. Capcom is kind of like the same way, right? Capcom does not use rollback, you know, in many of their games, like Street Fighter games. I don't even think Marvel Infinite uses it or anything like that. So I have a hard time believing that like Nintendo would use rollback. If they did, cool, but I don't think they would ever say it, because rollback is a very technical thing, and I feel like the only developers that I know that use it are mostly Western developers, and then there are some Japanese developers. I believe there is a port of Samurai Showdown releasing on sometime soon that uses rollback, which is interesting because that means SNK is fully utilizing rollback. And I would wish Samurai Showdown, the current one, would use it. I don't believe it does, because it's not very good. Like, the online netcode is not very good in that game. So there's a lot of room for improvement for a lot of these fighting games. Ultimate has a lot of room for improvement. I think right now, as far as I'm aware, KI has the best utilization of rollback, and I think partly in due of that, also has the best fighting game netcode that I'm aware of. Mortal Kombat has a netcode that's better than a good portion of fighting games too. It's not perfect by any means, but it's better. Because if you think about it, like, I think Skullgirls also uses rollback, I think. Not entirely sure, because I don't really play Skullgirls. I've only played it like once or twice in my whole life. Like, I think I've only played it like 2 or 3 times in my whole life. But I think it does utilize rollback. Actually, let's see if I can Google that, actually. Let's see. Okay, so interestingly enough... Alright, so... I think... Okay, so I got a list here that uses like rollback netcode. And... I see... So, yeah, some of these is interesting. Like, I'm not familiar with all these, but the 2020 port of Garo Mark of the Wolves uses rollback netcode. You see, Skullgirls use it. Let me see. Oh, actually, according to this, interestingly enough, like, rollback is used on like a good amount of games, actually. That's interesting. So apparently, I don't think Skullgirls uses it. No, it doesn't. I think it just has a good netcode, like just a good netcode on its own without having to use it. Because I'm not seeing it here. That's pretty good then. That's really good, if that's the case. Although I think it is using GGPO. Is it? Okay. Skullgirls does use this stuff, so it still does use it to the for here now. I got the game on October, and to this day, haven't gotten one match. Oh, it hasn't now. Is it just dead online? You might have to find people who play that game then, because I think what's funny is that even Mortal Kombat 11 has like a pretty, like, they do have a fan base on the Switch. Like I made that video a while ago, and that video basically just turned into a situation of finding out if Mortal Kombat 11 still had a good, you know, active fan base, or a good active what's the word, like, you know, this, like, the community's still active on the game. That was the whole point of that video, right? And from what I can see, yeah, it's surprisingly active. It's that video's like that video like opened my mind up to that. I got the game on October, and to this day, oh no, I've gotten a few people, but the match never starts. Oh, that's odd. That's odd. Well, the list I did find mentions that Skullgirls does use what I don't know what, I forgot what GGPO stands for, to be honest with you, but it does use a type of rollback netcode, I believe. Yeah, it does use it. But I wonder if the Switch version has issues for some reason, if that's the case. Because them fighting herds uses it. And then, like, full rollback netcode use is, like, on Power Rangers. It's on Samurai Showdown 5 Special. It's on Mortal Kombat 11, surprisingly. I didn't even know that. Killer Instinct. I still do believe, to my knowledge, Killer Instinct was the best, you know, use of it. Yeah, although I will point out that I don't see Skullgirls listed in the amount of games that that use rollback netcode. Although it is listed for GGPO, so I don't know. That's odd. I would get a match and choose my fighters, but the game brings me back to the menu. That's what I've been hearing. Okay, yeah. Skullgirls usually has a pretty good netcode. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, if that's the case. I think even like them fighting herds uses the same netcode that Skullgirls does. Although I'm not entirely sure, because I'm not familiar with those communities. I don't play Skullgirls or them fighting herds, so I'm not like familiar if like something has changed or something. I don't know. Although I've heard that they had good netcode. If something has changed, I don't know. I wish I did though. I wish I could give you the answer in that particular instance, you know. But Ultimate is it's an improvement from, you know, Smash Brawl, right? But fighting games as a whole has improved a very drastic amount, you know. From, I believe, before Street Fighter 4 and after, like, I don't even remember what would be the last fighting game that was popular back in like the 90s or like the early 2000s maybe, but there was such a long hiatus where the fighting game genre just was like on a drought, and there was just like nothing going on for fighting games. Street Fighter 4 just like came back, and they were like, yo, we can make fighting games still, bro. You know, like, because let's be fair, like, I think the only fighting games I remember in that little in-between era was like the Mortal Kombat PS2 games, and not for nothing, but they sucked. So the problem became, how do you make a fighting game that was, you know, good in the modern era? And Capcom just kind of hit a gold mine with Street Fighter 4, and they just kind of, you know, fighting games has just been a norm again, you know, around that time. Tekken is doing great. Smash is selling like a shit ton. And I think, like, keep in mind, when I say Street Fighter 4, I don't mean like they're the only ones that did well. Because, you know, obviously Smash was out and they sold a ton. But Street Fighter 4 kind of made it that, it kind of made third-party developers, like other developers not just making exclusive games, kind of feel more confident in developing like their fighting games again, you know. Soul Calibur 2 also. Soul Calibur 2 was a thing. Yeah, that's true. Soul Calibur 2 was a thing. It's like, it wasn't like completely dead. It was more like there was very few good fighting games coming out around that era. So for the most part, it was like there was some good ones. You know, I'm not saying like it was completely empty, but it definitely wasn't as much as it is now, or it was before that point. You know. Brought the genre back. Yeah. Yeah. Like obviously Smash was still doing great. Like Smash was doing great, like regardless of what the market looked like in terms of the genre. But it pretty much just like brought the genre back in other than, you know, Smash. I guess like because Smash is a very non-traditional fighting game. So when you're thinking of like Street Fighter, when you think of Marvel vs. Capcom and like this, you know, games like that, it's mostly traditional. Hell, you can even make the argument that like Soul Calibur and Tekken are non-traditional just because they're 3D, but you know it still pretty much came back. You know, there was also, I think, KJ, because you're saying there was also a Capcom versus game at that time too. Don't remember what it was. I think if you're referring to the Wii, there was Tatsunoko versus Capcom on the Wii. And then, but Capcom also came out right after Street Fighter 4 with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That game was complete doodle water. That game was doodle. It was garbage. That shit was shit. It sucked. And it had so much like on this DLC going on. Capcom, at one point, correct me if I'm wrong, I think after Street Fighter 4, they became so just enamored with fighting games after seeing the success of 4. They unironically made like 4 fighting games at the same time. I think there was like a variation of Street Fighter 4, which I don't remember which one it was. There was Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I believe there was, I think, Tatsunoko versus Capcom, although I'm not sure if that's the one I'm thinking of. And then there was a 4th one, I'm forgetting what it was. But they made like 4 fighting games at the same time. Like they released pretty damn close to each other. And I think like the only one that actually had some staying power was like Street Fighter, because it's Street Fighter. Like Street Fighter will always have like that. They're very dedicated communities. And I think there was like 3 of them. Yeah, like in that particular year it was one of them, but I'm not entirely sure which one was. Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Was it Marvel? It might have been Marvel 3, yeah. It might have been. Super Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 4 Champion Edition, Ultra Street Fighter. Yeah. Yeah. They had a lot of additions. I just remember in this one particular year, they had a version of Street Fighter 4. They had Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, and then there was like a 4th one that might have been Marvel 3. Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, it was Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, they had 4 coming out. 4. Just because one was successful. 4. Bruh. 4 fighting games going out. Would that not get in the way of each other's game sales? Like, cause here's the thing: Street Fighter is gonna sell. It's Street Fighter. It's like the granddaddy of fighting games. You know what I mean? Like, you don't like. It's gonna sell. You know what I mean? Like, and Marvel, it's Marvel, baby. Of course it's gonna sell, unless you're Infinite and it looks like trash, and doesn't have X-Men. But other than that, it's Marvel. It's gonna have its fucking sales. It's gonna do well. Marvel 3 was great. Ultimate Marvel 3 was better, but Marvel 3 was great from what I understood. Right? I had a very casual time with Marvel 3, but they released so many games, bro. So many games for no reason, right? And here's the thing: Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, I believe, was good. But why release it around the same time? Street Fighter Cross Tekken was just poo poo. It just sucked. Like there was no, you can't defend that game. That game just sucked. So you had like Marvel 3 and Street Fighter, another Street Fighter, and then just Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, which was gonna get buried under all the other ones. So it was like, what the hell was that? You know what I mean? Like it was just such a weird decision to do it that way. And I think they've learned from that and decided to, instead of just making a ton of fighting games, they'll just a Wii exclusive. Yeah, it was a Wii exclusive. I think that's what probably helped, Well, that's probably what they thought would help, I guess. But it did get buried though. Like there's still people who like it, and it was a good game. You know what I mean? Tatsunoko vs. Capcom wasn't a bad game. Like it's not like a Street Fighter cross Tekken situation where it was just not very well made. It was a good game. It just didn't get as much exposure and attention as like Street Fighter and Marvel did. You know, and those are massive games. And Tatsunoko vs. Capcom also had like a very weird thing where like the screen borders would depend on like combos. It's weird. But yeah, like it sucked. Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I agree with what Gilligan's saying in the chat. Like it sucked that it went the way that it did, because that game, like yeah, it was interesting to see what the Tekken characters would be like in a Street Fighter gameplay style, right? And the gem system just was stupid. You know, like Gilligan's is completely in the right in this particular instance. Like I agree with you. That game just had so much going against it. I feel like Street Fighter Cross Tekken was a project that was doomed to fail from the start because of so many things getting in the way. It was just not good, you know. And Ultimate Marvel 3 KJ was great. It was. I was never good at it though. I was better at Marvel 2. I'll just say that straight up. But I think the reason for that is because I spent way more time on Marvel 2 than I ever did Marvel 3. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I don't know, like they really shouldn't have done that. And I think after learning that, Capcom decided, all right, we'll make Street Fighter 5, right? But instead of making like a million different fighting games, what we'll do is just support this game for just forever, for eons. Because what is Street Fighter on now? Street Fighter 5 is on what? Season 5? How long has that game been getting content? That game I don't know any other fighting game that has content as long as Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5 is long in terms of how much content it's been getting. And I remember the drama when that game first released, because it was basically barren when it came to content. There was nothing there. It was just a game. Like it was just the game on its own, and it had like no single player or nothing. Like, it was just bare bones. It was a very bare bones game. And over the course of, I believe, 5 years or so, maybe more or less, I'm not sure, that game has gotten consistent content updates. Consistent. And I have friends who have been playing Street Fighter 5 every day since it released, and they're still getting content, and they're still excited to get it. Is Street Fighter 5 the best game? No, not by a long shot. There's a lot of problems with Street Fighter 5 compared to other Street Fighter games. I've judged from what, you know, fans of the series and longtime fans have told me about. You know, I'm not a Street Fighter person myself, but despite this, people are still excited to see these new content updates. They're still excited to see Street Fighter getting more content, even if this is the last season. So you can say whatever you want to say about Street Fighter 5's launch. You can say whatever you want to say about its gameplay, really. But you cannot fault them for the content they've been giving. They have been supporting that game for so long. For like so long. I'm not used to seeing fighting games get that much content. I'm not. And not in terms of the amount of content they're getting, but just like how long they've been giving it, you know? I think Smash for Wii U got like 1 year of content, I believe, if I remember correctly. Smash Ultimate looks like it's going to get 2 years of content. That's great. Imagine if Smash did that for 3 more years. And keep in mind, Smash Ultimate has already a colossal fuck ton of content. You know what I mean? Like, this is a situation like Street Fighter 5 launched with like bare bones content, like basically next to nothing, and then it gets 5 years of continuous updates and content. And then Smash Ultimate is like the opposite situation, where it released with a fuck ton of content, and then we're getting maybe like about 2 years of DLC. Like, they're both in great places. Street Fighter could be in a much better place with its netcode, but you can say the same about Smash. You know? And I believe Killer Instinct also got like a lot of content also, but it has long ended since now, you know? And It's crazy. Like I love seeing games and their communities consistently getting content. Whether you like it or not, whether you like the games or not, it's great to see them get content. It's great. But this is Street Fighter V's final content, like final season of content. So Street Fighter 6 maybe, who knows? We already have like 3 different editions of Street Fighter 5, and for the most part all they are is just DLC tied to it, you know? I can't deny it. It's the key fact of why Ultimate is the best game ever to me. Yeah, Ultimate is like in its best place. Maximilian said it best. We're on the high point of Smash right now. And Maximilian, like, and here's the thing, Maximilian, dude, when it comes to like Smash competitive scene, he doesn't know jack shit. But he's right in this case. He's 100% right in this case. And you know, Max says all the time, he doesn't know much about Smash, and that's okay. You know, you don't need to know everything about every single fighting game you've ever played in your life. Like, I don't know everything about Street Fighter, right? But he's right. Like, this is the best time to be into Smash. You can argue all you want about, you know, which is the best Smash game mechanically speaking, or what had the best single player content. But Ultimate right now is the game in Smash. It is the game. Because Melee, you can say whatever you want about its like competitive scene and whatnot, like, about it having like better gameplay, whatever the case is, right? But it has never had this many eyes on it. It has never given you this much content all at once, regardless if you like the content or not. Ultimate has given you so much. And because they brought back all the fighters from past games, along with adding more alongside the stage music experience. Right. And you know, I'm not going to say Ultimate is perfect. But in terms of like competitive scene, in terms of like the popularity of Smash Ultimate has sold more than any other fighting game. Like, and I don't even mean that in like, technically between these years and these years. No, it's the best selling fighting game. Period. That's it. The popularity has never been higher. I believe it broke numbers when it ended EVO. And you've never seen these many stages, these many songs, these many characters. You're still getting you got a season's worth of content in the last season, in the last Fighters Pass, right? You're getting a second season. Smash never even did that. How rare is it that Nintendo does like fully paid season content updates like this, and does a second year too? Like, it happens, but it's not the most common thing. I'm gonna say I like Ultimate's gameplay more than Melee, like legit. I do too, and I apparently Gilligan agrees with you too, KJ. And I do. And here's the thing: I grew up. I'm an OG. I played every single Smash game, and I'm sure a good amount of people in this chat have as well. You know, I'm not the only one. You know, there's a lot of fucking old ass dudes who play Smash at a competitive level, and both, you know, not at a competitive level. I mean, and like, I do prefer Ultimate. Now, I don't think Ultimate's perfect. I don't. It has issues. It definitely does. But as far as I'm aware, on a personal level, when I'm talking about the negatives of Ultimate, that does not mean I dislike the game. What that means to me is I'm trying to kink out the little chinks in its armor to make it the closest thing I can imagine a perfect Smash game to be. And there's many things they could do better, right? But that just means, like, you know, Ultimate is the culmination of what many fans and Sakurai himself have wanted over the years. What about the next game, right? What do we want for the next game? We can have improved online. We can have, I know, because some people didn't like World of Light, better single player content, right? You know, things like this is the things we can do to improve the future of these games, right? Because imagine if Melee was it. Because, you know, everyone loves Melee, right? Like, there's a very vocally loud community for Melee, right? So imagine if Melee ended there. Imagine if they believed what everyone said and said that Melee was a perfect game. Imagine if it ended there. There might be a good amount of people who are happy with it, but would Smash have grown from that? No, I don't believe it would have. I believe the competitive crowd would have liked that, like a good portion of it anyways. But having the same game? No. Hell, the best, like, in terms of, like, competitively, most Street Fighter players don't consider 5 to be the best one, but they move along with it too, because that's where the eyes are, you know? Like, it's you gotta improve with the times. The main things online, yeah, like, for me, I would say is about that too. Nintendo barely do second DLC packs. Yeah. That's the thing, because they know Smash sells. A DLC for Smash sells, and it makes money. And hell, like the fact that Mario Kart hasn't gotten anything still blows my mind. You know, to be honest with you, it's not. I know it's not fighting game related, but it's still weird to me. Because they did DLC for Pokken. Why? But like Mario Kart sells a lot more than both of those games. But I don't know. Nintendo can be weird sometimes, right? And yeah, Ultimate isn't perfect either. But the best games of all time have some significant flaws on my list. That is a good point, actually. I will go out on a limb and say that there is no such thing as a perfect game. I don't care how much you like a game. There is no such thing as a perfect game. I have many games. I would say like maybe a top 10. Let's just say top 10. I have top 10 games of all time in my life that I consider to be some of my favorite games ever made. Are they perfect? Not a single damn one. Not a single damn one. The way I look at it, masterpiece in your mind does not mean the game it has no flaws whatsoever. It doesn't mean that it's 100% perfect. It just means that it is the closest thing to perfect that you can feasibly see for yourself. You know? That's how I think about it. Like there's no such thing as a perfect game, but if you think a game is a masterpiece, it just means that it hits a lot of the right notes for you to the point where any flaws the games have can be overlooked because you enjoy what's there so much more to that point where it just doesn't matter. Like those flaws doesn't matter. But what are you talking about? Battlefield Bikini Bottom is a perfect game. Why are you being sarcastic? People actually like that game. I've never played that game. I think I actually talked about it on the stream when they first announced the remake. I had no idea why people were hyped for it. Not because I didn't like it. I just never knew about it. Because my experience with licensed games has never been, like, very rarely are they positive. So I didn't know people liked that game. I thought it was like just another licensed announced like Nickelodeon. You know what I mean? Like it was just another licensed game that I didn't realize it was like a childhood favorite for a lot of people. So it was cool to see it come back. I just didn't know about it. Marvel 3 has a great roster, fun gameplay, beautiful art style, but the mechanics are broken. Bro, straight up touch of death. You want to see a motherfucking Infinite? Nah. What was that? No, that was Marvel 2. But, nah, for real though, like, shit. I like using it as a joke. Dude, you be like Patrick sleeping under a rock. Bro, I'm sorry. Like, you know what? You want to know what I was playing when I was a kid? What the fuck was, because when I was growing up, I was not playing Battle for Bikini Bottom. I was playing I'm not fucking around none. I was playing Harry Potter. I was playing fucking like Harry Potter games on like the GameCube, bro. That's what I was playing, and it sucked. It sucked. It genuinely sucked. But you know, because what Patrick Star SSS tier, triple S tier, yeah, bro. He's broken. He's overpowered. He's the only character in the game that has rollback. But nah, like I'm serious though. Fucking when it came to like my childhood, I was playing like, let me see, if I'm thinking GameCube era, I was thinking Smash, Zelda, Metroid, like a lot of Nintendo games, you know. But on the PS2, I was playing like Destroy All Humans. I was playing and that Destroy All Humans remake I'm getting, by the way, because I did grow up with. I did grow up with Destroy All Humans. That was a lot of fun. I was playing No More Heroes on the Wii. I was playing I think the only licensed games I played was those Harry Potter games on the GameCube. Prisoner of Azkaban, so bad, yes, so good of a game. I played two of them. I couldn't tell you which ones. I think it was the first two of the Harry Potter series, actually, like Chamber of Secrets and whatever the fuck the other one was. it was like fucking, I don't fucking know, bro. Like, I don't think I played Prisoner of Azkaban. I think I played like a totally different one. Battlefield Bikini Bottom legit is the best licensed game in my opinion. Also one of the greatest 3D platformers. Oh really? I mean, maybe I can get around to it if I have the It's only 30. Oh really? That's pretty good. That's really good actually. Hey, I mean, who knows? Maybe maybe I can get around to it, because I genuinely didn't like it. It's not even like a like I don't think I knew any of my personal friends that played it. Oh, I also played that Toy Story game, but I had it on PlayStation. I think you're talking about the 3D platformer one. Is that the one you're talking? I played that too. If that's the one you're talking about, I think I had it on PlayStation though. But yeah, no, Bikini. I mean, I could probably get around to it. Depends on where my funds are though, because you know it can be. Cause I didn't even buy Last of Us. Just saying. Yeah. Oh, you did play it. I know the game you're talking about. Yeah, I played it. Yeah, I played it. Yeah. But yeah, I could get around the Battle for Bikini Bottom. I think for me, the best licensed game I've played, if I have to think about it, is probably GoldenEye. I think, if I had to pick one, unless there's one I'm forgetting about, I think GoldenEye would probably be the one that I would say based on the games I've played personally. You know, I can't judge games I haven't played. You know, but I think GoldenEye was probably the best one there. I hate the boss fights, especially the damn plane. Yeah, I remember that being annoying. Yeah. I don't think I actually beat that game. Now that I think about it. Battalion Wars was my favorite game during the GameCube era. It was in my rotation when I turned it on the GameCube. Let me see. That's the original Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast, and PS2 era. I think the most played. I don't think I played much of Battalion Wars. I think I played a lot of Star Wars Battlefront 2, a lot of Smash because I was always playing Smash, and OG Halo 1 and Halo 2. I think that's like what I was playing a good portion around that time period. If it wasn't those games, it was some kind of like single player game I was playing, like Zelda, Metroid. I think I forgot which Metroid. It had like a local multiplayer shooter thing that was kind of okay to play with for like a brief moment. That was basically what I was playing. I remember getting really far, but I couldn't beat it. I'm thinking of playing it on emulator so I could use save states. I mean, I couldn't blame you. I think, and I will say this, Battle for Bikini Bottom is even better than Super Mario Sunshine. That's a good point to bring up, actually, because I didn't like Sunshine. I did not like Sunshine at all. I did not. I really didn't. So, I will say this, like, in my mind, the claim that Battle for Bikini Bottom is better than Super Mario Sunshine, I can believe that, because I did not like Sunshine. So I can believe that. I really can. I could. I'm not sure if that's considered a hot take or not, but I know I didn't like Sunshine. Sunshine kind of doodle water, so it is what it is. That and Xenosaga when I got my PS2 later on in the era. Hey, yeah, I didn't like Sunshine, bro. I didn't. I really didn't. Anything can be better than Sunshine. You know what? Maybe. It doesn't take much to beat Sunshine now, does it? Sunshine kind of trash, bro. It's kind of trash. Oh my god. Xenosaga I need to get around to again. I started it back in the day and I never finished it. And I know those games are rare right now in terms of getting it physically. Like, I forgot, I think which one was it? Like the last one, the most... Was it the last one that's like worth like $1 million fucking or some shit on eBay? Like, it's a lot. It is a lot. I'm just... bro, you want a game that'll be fun with friends? Get freaking Tales of Symphonia. That's good. You know what's funny? I recently played through... I made a video talking about games I've been playing during quarantine, and I played through Trials of Mana. That's what it was. Trials of Mana. And, like, it was fun. But, like, I could definitely see, like, if multiplayer was a thing, it would have been, like, a lot more enjoyable for, like, myself and, like, a few friends. Episode 3 is the reverse copy. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Episode 3 is, like... that runs you a good amount of money, bro. That runs you a good amount of money. And in terms of people overrating, overhyping Sunshine, I don't know what they see in it. I'm not gonna say like if you like a game, you're wrong, because you know it's all a matter of opinion. But fucking Sunshine was just not the game for me. And I've said this many times before, and people always like have like very very like negative reactions with it. I don't think the GameCube was all that. Like, okay, I feel like I need to explain that a little bit because I feel like people are gonna take that out of context and like not understand it to an extent. But a lot of my favorite franchises that had like games on the GameCube just their games were not my favorites. I think the only one that I would say was like phenomenal on GameCube was Metroid Prime. Like that was phenomenal, right? But Sunshine, not the biggest fan of. Melee, not the biggest fan of. What else was there? There was Zelda, right? I was able to play Twilight Princess on my Wii, so I didn't really feel like I needed my GameCube all that much. In terms of Wind Waker specifically, it was good. Not my favorite Zelda though, but it was good, right? And like yeah, it just felt like I like a lot of GameCube games, but I just don't feel like it's my favorite. Like it doesn't. It's not my favorite. Like I think my favorite Nintendo systems probably are up there, like Super Nintendo, N64, and Switch. Actually, funny enough, I think Switch might be in that top 3 now. Double Dash is one of the good ones. I'll say that. It's one of the good ones. I have a good fuck. I sound like tripping over my words. This is why editing videos is so much easier to talk. Double Dash was good. I have a lot of love for like the games that came after it because I feel like they refined a lot of like Mario Kart while also kind of like introducing a few new things here and there. I do like Double Dash though. I do like it. Although I will also go on a limb and say that Mario Kart is a franchise that, how do I put it? I enjoy, but it's not like my, like I don't get hyped for new Mario Kart. I enjoy it because it's fun, and I play through it, and I play through it a few times with a good couple of friends of mine or whoever. But I don't, lose my mind over new Mario Kart. So like, even though Double Dash was good, like I don't really, jump into it in terms of like I don't immediately think of it when I'm thinking of like my favorite games, I guess. And N64 has some great games, but it doesn't compare to GameCube in my opinion. And that's fair. That's fair. I just feel like a lot of the games it had was like some of the best in their respective franchises for me. What about Star Fox Adventures and Assault? I'll be honest with you. I remember enjoying them, but I don't remember which was which. That's gonna sound stupid, but like I think which one was the one with the dinosaur? I didn't like the dinosaur one. That I remember not liking, and the other one, I don't remember much from it actually. What the fuck happened in that game? I don't remember shit from that game. Now that you mention it, I don't remember anything. What the fuck happened in that game? I have no idea. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't. I genuinely can't remember anything about it. I think. No, hold on. There was a multiplayer mode, right? Adventures is the Zelda clone. Yeah, I don't remember getting too into that one. Although Assault, I remember that. I think that was the one with the local multiplayer. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. And if that's the one, then like, I just don't remember much of the on rails and third person shooter. Yeah. I think I get you. Yeah, I don't remember much that happens in that game though. It's kind of hard. It's hard for me to say like if I enjoyed it because I don't remember much of it. I feel like I would have to replay it. Assault has multiplayer. Yeah. Okay. I will say this in terms of Star Fox. When it comes to Star Fox, I think I have very unpopular opinions on which I think are the best ones. Because every time I ever talk to somebody about them, they don't agree with me. They either don't agree with me or they're just genuinely surprised by it. Because I think, in my opinion, I think the best Star Fox games are the ones that let you plan a course, almost like a strategy, like they have the on-rail shooting, but then they also have like the world strategy map kind of thing, and you choose where you need to go and like defend, and like depending on like what's going on in the galaxy. And for that reason, I like Star Fox 2 and Star Fox Command the most. And I feel like that's not a popular opinion. I think that's very unpopular, if anything. Like I don't know, like again, I don't know if those are super popular. So basically 64. Yeah, I like 64 too, yeah. Also, Command and 2. I prefer 2 would be better if it didn't run at like 10 frames per second, on the hardware. But I like both of those because I like being able to plan my course and like defend depending on like the missiles coming at you and like shit like that. So like I like those, and like I don't remember. I feel like that's what just me speaking, but I feel like that's Star Fox at its best. But everyone I know, they just like 64, and then everything else they just don't know much about or care about too much. Or maybe my opinion is popular. I don't know. I don't know where the Star Fox fanbase hangs out. Assault Zero and Star Fox 2. Yeah, like I like I didn't like Zero. I will admit that the controls did get in the way for me. I never got used to it. I know there are people who got used to it and they were pretty good with it. And kudos to you if that's the case. I couldn't. I tried. I really did. I tried. And I like 64, but 64 is not the one that comes to mind first. It's generally Command and 2. Star Fox 2 and Command are, I think, the best. They're the best in using the idea that I described, like in using the map as almost like a strategy board, and knowing when to defend the galaxy and like different, knowing when to go there, when do these necessary battles and that sort of thing. And I also really enjoyed playing the Command multiplayer. That was a lot of fun. I think Star Fox Command might have been one of my most played games on the DS, primarily because of the multiplayer. Like, I think it was generally like my most played game because of that. Or if it wasn't my most played, it was like really high up there. Gyrocopter missions are trash though in Zero. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I just had problems with. Like, I honestly do kind of want them to bring it back, but kind of like, I don't know, do something to like make the controls a little like easier to understand, a little more, a little streamlined, I guess. I don't know what the exact word I'm looking for is, but I would like to be able to play it. I just have problems because I've never gotten used to the controls. Zero gave me neck problems, had the worst case of whiplash. It's funny too because like I can play Kid Icarus Uprising just fine, and I know that game also had weird ass controls. But for when Star Fox Zero was coming out and people kept saying like, oh, the controls are like, you know, doodle for whatever reason, I assumed I could handle it because I played the Kid Icarus Uprising. So I thought like, oh, I did Kid Icarus Uprising, I can handle it. It just never clicked with me. That's the reality of it for me. Unpopular opinions about the Dragon Quest series. Oh, big boy over here. Well, the thing is, like, I'm a new fan to Dragon Quest. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about Dragon Quest. I'm talking about the gyrocopter. That's the little drone thing, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, in general, I just couldn't. At least I think that was the copter, like the little drone like thing that would fly like little sections. But yeah. To this day, I'm going to continue the petition to bring Kid Icarus Uprising to Switch. You cannot stop me! Yeah. I don't know. And the multiplayer was kind of fun in that game too. But like Dragon Quest specifically is a series that I've only just recently got into. Within the past, I want to say less than a year. It's been less than a year. And I remember, like, as a kid, I owned Dragon Quest 8, and because I was a dumb kid, I didn't understand what the hell I was doing half the time. So I didn't really get to come back to the game until like recently. I want to be on it too. And so like when it comes to the Dragon Quest series, the only games I can say I beat that I can judge is Dragon Quest 11, Dragon Quest 1, Dragon Quest 2, and the first Dragon Quest Builders game. Those are the ones I've played and I've beaten. I'm in the middle of Dragon Quest 3. And I could say, off the bat, Dragon Quest 3 is the best of the first three. Because like the first is like the Erdrick trilogy. And in terms of the Erdrick trilogy, 3 is easily the best one. Like, it's not even a competition. It's just the best one. And Dragon Quest 11 was really good too. Very good. Very good game. I did the post game and everything. I did all of that shit. I made a video talking about it back then, and it still is relevant now. When I came back to Dragon Quest, like as a kid I didn't understand it, but when I came back to it as an adult and I played it, I loved it. Is 3 on Switch? Yeah. Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 are on Switch. The first 3. I want them to port the Zenithian trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. I want them to put. Honestly, they can port every single game in the series and I'd buy them. But I recently actually, hold on. Get out of here. Now, I recently picked up these 3 games to try to, get back. Because I owned 7 and 8 before. But it was when I was a kid and I didn't really understand what I was doing. So I just never understand what I was doing. So I got the 3DS ports or remake specifically so I can come back to it and finally play it. Dragon Quest 9 I got just because it came free with the other 2. So it kind of works out in that sense. It was like a deal some guy on like eBay was doing or some shit. So it worked out. Speaking of RPGs, I got a hot take. I think after seeing new Pokemon Snap, I think Bandai Namco should call up Game Freak to make the next mainline games. I'd be cool with that, because Pokemon Snap is fucking pretty. Like, it's pretty, and I think Game Freak needs the help. Those DS Dragon Quest games are hard to get. Oh, like the regular DS ones, because I just have Dragon Quest 9, and like. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it eventually. Like when I have the time, I have other games to play through, whatever the case is. But like, I've heard good things about it, so okay, I'll get into it eventually. But Bandai, like, I think Game Freak needs the help because they're like, development cycle is so small. Like they're on such a strict schedule, and they have such little time to do this shit, right? That they have to rush so much stuff that it just makes the games pay for it in the end. And I'm not gonna say like the games are like the worst things ever, because of like the whole national dex thing, and or whatever. But you also can't say that it's perfect either. Like you could see the I can see some of the. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember the word. The potential is the word I'm looking for. The potential for what Pokemon could be. Yeah, that like Bandai Namco like really made that game pop. Bamco is good company when they make original games and not Arena Fighter. Please stop making every anime game fucking Arena Fighter. God damn it. It must be so easy to make those that they just like throw them into that fucking that genre immediately. But like, and honestly, I think I know Isle of Armor, like I beat Isle of Armor already. It's like it is what it is. But what I like about it is the potential of the idea of how it was structured. And by that I mean, I think it's time for Pokemon to make the game just open. You see how like the entire Isle of Armor was basically just like, it's just open. You just walk into the building, you just see people, you talk to them, right? And then the whole game just takes place in this open area. There's no fixed camera perspectives. There's no, anything like that. And I kind of like that, like, I enjoy that. And I like that they made it a thing in Isle of Armor. I like that the Pokemon follow you around. I think if they can make, like, an entire game, maybe not the whole game is one instance, maybe there can be some loading zones here and there. But for the most part, having the whole game like that, like this, move the camera however way you want, have the Pokemon follow you, have trainers just like in these areas. Maybe you can have like there's a forest in Isle of Armor that's pretty much like Pathways, but it's still free. Like you still move the camera around. They could do stuff like that, and if they make a whole Pokemon game designed around that particular philosophy, I think that will be a game that will be worth talking about. But the problem is that the wild area is such a small, contained place. And Isle of Armor is a bigger version of that, which is cool. But a whole game based on that, I think, would be, like, really interesting to see how that could look. Let me see. Given the Arc system work... Oh, Arc system. Pokken Tournament is the best arena fighter. Probably. I'm not. I don't remember. I don't remember many because I don't play a lot of arena fighters, to be honest. So like I don't. I'm not entirely sure to be honest with you. But it probably is. Like from my experience, I like Pokken Tournament. So, so Dragon Quest 11 as of Pokemon on Open. I mean, they don't have to do the exact same thing as Dragon Quest, but like Dragon Quest does it. I think certain other games do it. Like I can't remember all the specific ones. But like if it's open like that and it has zones and you can see the Pokemon walking around and stuff, I think that's what a lot of people want. They want, like, every time I ever talk to some, like, a casual fan of Pokemon, talk about what they would like about Pokemon, they always talk about that they want the games to be, like, almost like an open world or, like, an MMO kind of thing. That's why you always see those comparisons with, like, Breath of the Wild and shit. And it doesn't need to be Breath of the Wild. Make that clear. It doesn't need to be, like, open world extravaganza like Zelda is, right? But it can be what the wild area is now, but, like, expanded upon, you know? So that's what I'm thinking about. And what Gilligan's saying about the wild area testing the waters, that could be the case. And I'm hoping that's the case. But we also know that Game Freak does have a habit of introducing concepts and then just taking those concepts away for the next generation of Pokemon. So I'm hoping that's not the case. You know, I'm hoping that's not the case. It's hard to tell, you know. But if they can do that, if they do expand upon it, I think Pokemon does have a brighter future. I'm not gonna say a bright future because, you know, people have a lot of nostalgia for like the old games, and like a lot of the old games are very well made. But it will be better than what it is now. I guess that's what I mean. Like it will be an improvement for where we currently are. And I hate the fact that Urshifu is a legendary, but it has the stats like Volcarona. You can't breed it. You can't breed it. That's kind of dumb. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really breed much. I'm not super, like, I just don't. I don't breed much in Pokemon. Although there's been a lot of times where I want to get into Pokemon in terms of like the competitive scene and shit, but I just never like actually take the time to fucking do it. It's the first one that I'm enjoying. Do you mean like Pokemon specifically, or are you talking about like a different, like Dragon Quest or like a different game? Because if it's the first Pokemon game that you're enjoying, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Because it seems very, like, divisive right now in terms of how the community feels about Pokemon and, you know, that kind of shit. Pokken. Oh, so you're talking about, like, arena fighters. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking of, like, the arena fighters I've played, and I haven't played much. I think like the only arena fighter I remember playing other than Pokken Tournament was probably those Naruto Clash of Ninja games on the GameCube. And that's where they might have been somewhere else, but that's what I played. That's what I've played them. And I don't even watch Naruto. I just played them because all my friends at the time played that only that game, so I had to play it. The Pokemeadows in a frenzy after this DLC. Oh, is it now? Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I can see that. But they added like a bunch of new Pokemon in this particular expansion, and then I believe they also had the Max Mushroom thing, where you can make Max Soup and just get a Gigantamax like that. So I'm not familiar, but it does surprise me that there was some kind of shakeup in the Pokemon meta. How so? In terms of what? Like the meta of Pokemon? Like, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe certain Pokemon combinations that were possible that weren't possible before and possible now, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I could see it just because of like new combinations being possible when they weren't before. And maybe, you know, some Pokemon can have counters that are not apparent. New team builds and new strategies. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And the thing is, like, when you had every single Pokemon, like when National Dex was a thing, I could see it being like, you know, even if there was a strong team, there was a counter because every Pokemon was available. But with it not being a thing, and certain Pokemon added, you can have like certain combinations and certain strategies exist without the counter possibly existing. Urshifu's freaking great though. Yeah, it's cool. I like Urshifu. I think Urshifu is a good design. I think he's a better design than the one we've seen in the Crown Tundra. That's a very weird looking guy. That Pokemon. I don't remember what it was. His name was. He was yeah, I don't remember his name. I don't. But it seems cool. It seems alright, you know. I like Urshifu though. I like the although correct me if I'm wrong, Urshifu doesn't look different from his other form, right? Because he has like the single strike style and the what was it? I think it was single strike style and like rapid strike style. Good thing is that they're both competitively viable. Oh, are they? That's good. I like that. I wasn't sure. Like, do they look different? Because I think if they don't, because I remember I battled the Master dude, Master Mustard, and he had like the rapid strike style, but he looked the same. I think it would have been cool if he looks different, but maybe he does, and they just didn't change it. I don't know. But other than that, like Urshifu seems like a cool Pokemon. I'm down for them to be in Smash. Maybe in the next Smash game, because you know how it is. Every time we get a new Smash game, they add a new Pokemon rep. Probably would be just different poses. Oh, okay. I think it would have been cool if he looked different too, but yeah, I guess poses is cool. But I think if they actually made them look different, that would be like they do look different. Oh, do they? Wait, have I not noticed? I probably haven't noticed them. Let me see. Because I've only seen the... Because the one I have is the one I got was a dark one. So I haven't noticed if there's... Oh, is it just the... Because the only difference I see is in their Gigantamax forms. The band's raised up in Single Strike and they're down in Rapid Strike. They look more different than Gmax forms. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Because I'm looking at the Gigantamax forms right now, and they do look different. I give it that. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Rapid Strike, yeah, he has it like on the sides. It looks like. Okay, I see it. I would have liked it. I don't know. I wish it was more dramatic of a change, but it's kind of different. Cause like his like it's a little like it's like I don't know what you call it, his fur or like his. I don't know what it would be called. Yeah, it's like there is some differences. It's not immediately noticeable, like there's no color difference, but he has like bands that are like downward on the side versus like up, or he has like the little fur thing near his crotch that are like upward or downward. Yeah, he does look different. It's not super noticeable, but it does look different. Okay, that's cool. I think it would have been cool if they were different color just to make it a little bit more noticeable. Like I don't like how Lycanroc changes color a little bit. He doesn't need to like change how he stands or anything, but their fur, yeah, it is a little different. It is a little different. If anything, if I recall correctly, Dynamaxing is banned in official tournaments. Is it? Is it? I do remember people complaining about it in terms of balance. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I'm not super involved with I'm not super involved with the competitive Pokemon scene. I know people who are, and I just kind of take their word for it at this point. But I'm not fully like the only competitive scene I know about to a certain extent is like I know Smash, and because of other people talking about it, I know a little bit of the Mortal Kombat scene just because like I have friends who talk about like Katana Prime, and then you can't avoid Sonic Fox. He's like everywhere. I think I might have got it wrong. I'm not sure. But you can always correct me if I'm wrong if I ever get any particular piece of details wrong because you know I'm mostly talking out of my ass. But yeah, I think that's basically it in terms of like the Pokemon thing. I think we talked about Netcode. We briefly talked about The Last of Us Part 2, which is this big ass statue here. That statue is huge for like no reason, by the way, but it's cool. It's cool. I did see that in the Tourney's Pokemon host, they can use Dynamax. I'm guessing that before this whole pandemic, I was in some locals for Smash, but I had to bail because the smell got to me. That's hilarious. I think the difference is like tournaments by Pokemon, they use it, and then like community run tournaments, or they probably ban it if I had to take a guess. Before this whole pandemic, I was in some. Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah, the locals. I will say I have been to a good amount of locals for Smash, and like some. Yeah. Okay. You want to know what the most annoying thing to me is about going to a local for Smash? I'll tell you right now, because I have stories when it comes to this particular fucking thing that people do. All right. If I go to a local, right, there's always at least one guy who acts very. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, they act like a smartass about like every little detail of like Smash competitive knowledge, right? Now, I'm not talking about people who tell you, like, if you ask a question and they tell you like, oh yeah, you know this and this and that. That's fine. Sometimes people don't even know what the answers are half the time. But you know, if people wanna ask and they wanna give the answer, fuck it. You know, just have that conversation. There are people that are so annoying when it comes to like locals, where I can talk about like, oh, you know, I went to this local, and they want to have like this super like, they want to like basically interrogate me about like what my strategies are and shit. Specifically about like if I even know what I'm talking about, as of like I'm some kind of like these are the kind of dudes who like go up to a girl and be like, I don't think guys like playing video games. I think you just want attention. Like those fucking guys. I swear to God, they're annoying shit. Cause like, okay, I'll give you a specific story just to like narrow it down a little bit. I went to a local once, right? Somewhere in Manhattan. I'm not gonna get specific, but it was somewhere in Manhattan. I went to this local, and what happens is like there was this guy, and I'm not gonna describe the dude because I don't want any situations where like somebody I know goes to a local and happens to bump into this guy or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to cause drama. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna try to leave everything as vague as possible, so that way, you know, nobody gets any idea. You know, nothing comes of it. You know, social skills are down to -100 for some of those people. Yeah, it is. And so what happens is that this guy, I go to this local, and because there was a line to register your name. So what happens is I'm on this line, and this guy's behind me, right? And you know what happens? We're all here for the same thing, so you get into some casual conversation. You know, it's cool. You know, I like talking to people. That's why I like going to events. I like being social to an extent, because sometimes I can't handle people. Like, I'm an introvert for a reason, right, guys? So I'm talking to him, right? We're talking. And then he asks me specifically, oh, have you ever gone to any tournaments for Smash for Wii U? And I was like, oh, Wii U? Yeah. You know, I went to some. And then what I do is I say, this I won't mention specifically because it's no longer around. But I was like, oh yeah, you know, I used to go to locals at Nebulous. Nebulous used to be a local that would host Smash for Wii U tournaments. John Numbers was there on many occasions, and so has many other people. There was a point in time I played with MVD, and MVD and I spoke about Nebulous briefly and that kind of thing. And like, it's just a local spot, you know. It wasn't like a big deal. And basically what happened was like, as the second I said Nebulous, this man interrupts me in the middle of me talking about it. Like, he just cuts me off completely, and then he just goes, Nebulous is no longer around. He gives me like this look, like that look like he caught me on a lie or some shit. Like he got me on a gotcha moment or some bullshit. And I'm like, my man, did you not ask about Smash for Wii U? Smash for Wii U is no longer around. The fuck do you think is... Obviously, he's not. That's not relevant to the conversation. You're asking about Wii U. What does that mean? Why? Why are you asking such a stupid question? But I used to go to tournaments in Nebula. This place was awesome. Yeah, Nebulous was cool. Nebulous was cool. Nebulous was cool. But yo, there was also some pompous ass people in Nebulous. I don't know if you want to hear that story too, guys. I can get into it if you want. Again, I'll leave names and shit like that out of it. But like, there were some pompous people over there. But yeah, like, what was the point asking me about a game that no one plays anymore, right? And then and then like cut me off to point out that like the place I go to is no longer around. Like I used to go to is no longer around. I'm like, I know. Like, obviously I know. I was there. I used to be there. Shut up. Like, I know already. You know, like, bro, that shit was like... And then, like, what he would... And then, instead of, like letting me talk, instead he would just be like, you know, I like to do this combo where I like to, you know, I would do, drag down 12%, clusterfuck McGillicuddy, fucking... Like, he would just talk about, like, his combos and shit. And like, I don't care. Like I don't care. No, like if you want to talk about like Smash stuff with me, like if you want to know, if you want to talk combos and shit like that, that's fine. But like you cut me off to talk about yourself. I don't care anymore. Like at that point, don't ask me about myself and then cut me off just to talk about yourself. Like, does that seem rude? Am I being rude? Am I the wrong? Am I the asshole? Is that me being in the wrong? Or am I in the right in, like, assuming that's really rude to just set me up just to, like, talk about yourself? Am I wrong? Because I think I'm in the right. If that makes me an asshole, that makes me an asshole. But, like, I don't know. I genuinely did not understand that like thing, so I was just kind of looking at him like, yeah, yep. Yeah, so there are some pompous people, Jugs. Like when I went to Smash for Wii U tournaments at Nebulous, there was a guy there. I have two instances, but one of them is a place that's still around, so I'm not gonna go into like the specific name for that place. But Nebulous is not around anymore, so I feel like I can talk about it freely. And we talking about assholes, bro. Assholes is all we want to talk about. But hey, Joshua, how you doing, bro? I love you. I'm willing to bet at least one person did that in your stream at some point. They probably did. They probably did. You have people who like to flex. Like if there's someone who feels confident in their ability to play good at a game, they're gonna try to flex and like they're gonna do the fucking put their dick on the table type fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to fucking just slam your dick on the table type like strat where they think they're like being intimidating or something if they know shit, and it's like I don't know half the shit I'm doing and I play better than like a good amount of people that was there. Like, the first time I went to a specific local, I got top 8. And then people would ask me, like, hey, you did really well. What did you do? I was like, I don't know. I was just doing what I thought worked. But, so, like, you have people who are pompous and, like, who does that kind of shit. But the specific example I was going to give, right, is that when I went to Nebulous at one point, what happened is that I got into a tournament, right? I won... I want to say 2 or 3 matches because Nebulous had some stiff competition. Like Nebulous has some good players on there. So I won like 2 or 3 matches, and then I took an L, right? And then what happened was in the losers bracket, I fought this guy who had Bayonetta. Keep in mind, this is Smash for Wii U. I was a Falcon main, just to give context. I was a Captain Falcon main. This guy played Bayonetta in Smash for Wii U. He was in losers bracket, but we're not getting into that. The point is that I was playing him, right? I won. I beat him, right? I go away, and then I find out the next match is with that same kid, that same person, his brother. Okay, so I had to go sit down with the person that I beat her again, with him watching, you know, that kind of shit. And what happens is the brother that I'm playing, he's playing me, right? And then the guy I beat is watching him, you know, because that's his brother. So he's watching him, and then as I'm playing, and keep in mind, his brother's also playing Bayonetta. Everyone played Bayo. He's playing Bayonetta also, right? And what happens is that this guy in behind me is talking so much shit about me right when I'm there. Like, I can hear you. And he's like, oh, you say, I know the problem. I know all your habits. You have all the same habits. You do all the same things. I can easily beat you. I was like, my man, if you could have beat me, you would have done it. But you didn't. It's like, why? Like, just shut up. it's like okay, I don't know, man. Like, people in tournaments are fucking dumb sometimes, and they will legit tell you to. And like it's like, you played the best character in the game. If you lost, that's on you. That's all I can say about it. If you lost, that's on you. And Bayonetta wasn't like challenged to be the best. She was by far the best character in the game. Like, there was no competition in that sense. It was just dumb. And then I think I had like another situation where I went to another event. And again, this place is still open, so I don't want to name this specific location. But I went to this location and I played Falcon still, like, because this was still Smash for Wii U. And I played Falcon, and I beat this guy Sonic. He played Sonic. I beat him. He gets so mad. Like, he's saying, like, oh, fuck this, and blah, 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 blah. And he goes, all right, second match. Whatever, let's do one more match. And I was like, all right. He takes his little thing off of Sonic. He goes straight to Bayonetta. Straight to Bayo. Like, no hesitation. Just like, Sonic, Bayo. Just bam, done. He still lost. And I was like, back then, people just played Bayo just to win, and I mean, it worked in a lot of cases, to be honest with you. But like, like, some people just cannot just play and like not get like tilted and shit. And your friend, let me see, my brother did friendlies with a group of guys at a university. He played Hero. The soul was real. Yeah, I can believe that, especially if you got a lot of like lucky crits or like thwacks or whacks or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Yeah, that could happen too. I think like when you go to locals, when I go to locals, I'm mostly playing for friendlies. I played multiple people through almost primarily friendlies. And my major thing was just to have fun with it and just play it. And then if I play in tournament, I just play, and if I do well, I do well. If I don't, I don't. You know, it's all good. I don't take it that seriously. I really don't. But some people do. And like in the first case, with when the guy like tried to catch me on a gotcha moment about the Nebulous thing, it's like they clearly see themselves as like this is it, like they have to win, you know what I mean? And they take it so seriously, and it's like, it doesn't need to be that serious, bro. Just have fun with it. I didn't play Smash for competitive, but I experienced the Bayonetta pain. Yeah, like Bayonetta back then was a pain. Like, it would get like, there was many locals I went to where it would get to the point where if you won the first match and it was a sizable lead, let's say you 3-stock the guy or you 2-stock him or whatever, they would just boom, Bayonetta, like just immediately. They just go straight to it. They didn't either, not realize. Oh, so they were just raging just to rage at that point. Because Hero can, I could see Hero causing rage because of the luck stuff. But if he didn't even win because of that, then yeah, I don't. They were just raging because they were losing at that point. Oh my gosh. But it's like they got money on the line or something. The thing, like, some had like tournament fees, but the tournament fees are like what, $10, $20? Like, unless, like, okay, if you go every single day, like not every single day, every single week, because most locals are like weekly. If you go like every single week, and you don't make a lot, let's say, right? You're spending what, like $40 a month at least. at least, unless you're someone who brings your Switch and dock and everything all the time, then they like give you like a discount and shit. If that's the case, you're losing money in that case, but like it's $10. I don't know, like it ain't all that, you know what I mean? Like the way I look at it, like even if there's you're putting $10 on the line and you're talking to other people like they're beneath you, you know what I mean? And I don't go to Locust for any other game because I don't put in that time, you know? Like I play Mortal Kombat and I have like a decent Jade in Mortal Kombat, but I'm not nowhere near competitively like viable, you know what I mean? So I don't bother going to competition. So I can't tell you like a comparison. But Smash, like specifically, they're just rude. They're like they're straight up rude. So you should have some thick skin and some thick like you need to have some thick skin because like they talk shit straight to your face at that like in some of them in some cases. Whoa, if it isn't the big dog. Oh wow, if it isn't Ridicule. How you doing, man? How you doing? We're just kind of chilling, talking about competitive gaming, talking about Smash Brothers, talking about all the different shits. And if you have any questions to ask me, what about any gaming related thing, you can feel free to ask, and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. But yeah, let's see. I need to be streaming the match I'm doing for other. You could. None is stopping you, bro. You could definitely do that. Thick ass too. You definitely need a thick ass, baby. That's the only reason why I got by in Smash streams, bro, because I be dummy thick. But yeah, long time no see, Radical. How you doing, man? How you doing? I saw you did a stream, like a very quick stream, and I was like, I couldn't come in because I was at work. And I was like, fuck, I wanted to bother you. I would love to like just harass you a little bit on your stream. What you should do, Radical, is that tomorrow, you should do a stream where you're playing, Smash Online for no particular reason. You should do it. No More Heroes coming out this year or delayed? I say this year. I still think this year. I feel like No More Heroes is a September, late summer, early September game. That's what I think. If it passes September and we still don't see No More Heroes 3, then yeah, it's delayed. Then I don't think it's delayed. Other than that, nah. I think it's good. Also, by the way, that reminds me, Jugs. You gotta DM me at some point, man. Cause we were doing something at one point, and I don't want to say it out here in public, but we were doing something at one point, and I want to know if you still down to continue that or not. I think if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If not, we were talking in the DMs. Oh, everyone would love to see you join my Smash Arena on stream. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not. I mean, yeah, it could be fun. It could be fun. If you want, you can do like a whole like having me on and you and I play Smash, or you could just do like a public lobby and I'll just join in. However way you want it. If it's the first option, I could definitely do a Discord thing. That could be interesting. But I think it's sarcasm because nobody wants me in their lobby. Nah, but I think it'll be good. Hey, I see that Last of Us 2 Collectors. How you liking it? I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. I like how it's a little more open this time around. I'm not gonna say it's like a masterpiece because I don't think it's a masterpiece. But I've only played like the first 4 to 5 hours, I think. Could around there. I want to say 4 or 5 hours. It's really slow paced, but I think that's the point. I think it's trying to be slow paced, and I think it needs. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I'm not in love with it, but I like that there's a little bit more of an open-ended way of doing certain things compared to the first one. But there's also some mechanics from the first Last of Us I wish was a thing, and maybe it is. I just haven't gone far enough, but. It's been good. It's been good. Much fun. I know what you're talking about. I actually worked on Stoneville last night for the hell of it. Oh, did you now? All right, so we definitely gotta talk, man. We definitely gotta talk. I've passed on The Last of Us 2 for now, but if it goes on sale in a couple of weeks, which probably will, I'll buy. I'm like 15 hours in, and so far I like it. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. You're a lot farther in than I am, then. I feel like there's certain things that like I feel it could be better on, but so far it's decent. Like I would say like. On average, like an 8 7-ish range I'm thinking of right now, but it's only like 4 or 5 hours or so. So I don't think it's fair for me to give it like a rating or anything. But I'm enjoying it. It's I don't think it's gonna be a game of the year game for me, but it's definitely not a 3 out of 10 like user scores will say. But yeah, if anything, Radical Ghost of Tsushima will probably be pretty good. I'm probably not gonna get it, to be honest with you, because I'm not super interested in the setting. Like I don't know, something about ancient China, feudal Japan. Like not that they're the same, but like I've just never been like I just never was interested in that setting. Same thing with Sekiro. Like when Sekiro was a thing, like when it came out, I just wasn't that interested. But I do like it's more of an open game though. That's in general, that's probably more my cup of tea. So like I could definitely see myself trying to get into that. You know, maybe I'll get it. I don't know. It depends. I could take a chance with it and see if it interests me more. But the second gameplay when they first show. Oh, does it? I need to take a look at it. I haven't seen the new gameplay of Tsushima. I haven't caught up with that game because I just assumed that because of the setting I wouldn't find it as interesting. But I could definitely take a look at it and see if it piques my interest or not. But in terms of The Last of Us 2 Radical, if you wait till Black Friday, that shit will probably be really cheap. But it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. I would say like if you enjoy like linear storytelling games, kind of like a lot of PlayStation games, like I think it'll be enjoyable for you. But you Radical, you know me well enough to know like it isn't typically my style, so that's probably why I'm not like super in love with it yet. But you know, I'm at the end of Sekiro and I've been stalling at the last boss. Yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's perfectly fair. That game is not easy. I'll leave it at that. It's not easy. It's not easy. I don't know if it's a difficulty related reason, but I can see why. What's up, Shifty? Hey, how you doing, Sour? How are you doing? Hello, Facts. Yeah. Like it's probably like I think if anything, Radical, you'll probably like it. Like knowing you're the kind of guy who would probably like it a lot more than I do. The first gameplay was so mad. They had mans playing the flute and Millie Rocky, and the second was pure gameplay. All right, well, I don't know, man. I love flute gameplay. Have you not seen my love for Ocarina of Time? That's basically just as Coney I think said, is a potato-shaped flute. So you know, I think it's I think the flute might have played into my interests. How you doing this pandemic? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Finally getting back, talking to you guys. I wish fireworks was not blowing outside my window right now because these guys are not shooting fireworks straight into the air. They're shooting it at each other because they're jackasses. If you ever hear like a super loud pop, it's because of that. I used to be Mr. Cameo, but here I am with a different username. Man, the sex in that Last of Us 2 was questionable. I haven't gotten there yet. I will say, like, just in case there's anyone in here who's looking forward to the game, let's try to like minimize how much specific scenes we talk about. You know, just in case anyone is looking forward to the game or whatever. But yeah, I haven't gotten there yet specifically. I'm going to though soon. Maybe. I don't know how far it. My bad, spoilers. No, it's all good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. I just want to say like just in case, you know, the conversation moves in that direction. The protest, I'm guessing, it has nothing to do with protests. The fireworks have nothing to do with protests. And New York protests have passed by my neighborhood. They have. Have nothing to do with it. These are genuinely just random dudes, like in the neighborhood, just shooting fireworks at each other. They've used cars as cover and shit. Go off at your bracket. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Like my window's right here. Like I don't know if you can see, like right here. I'm seeing a little preview view thing. It's right here, right out there. They're having fireworks fights. Everyone and their mom has fireworks in NYC. Exactly. Sounds like Brooklyn. Hell yeah. And Radical would know because Radical came by once and we almost saw a dead body. YouTube's gonna take this whole stream down and say like, what did he say? A dead body. But no, yeah, like there was a guy who didn't look like he was in this realm anymore. But yeah, what the fuck is it then? They're just having battles. I swear to God, they're just having like, they're using fireworks as like like they're playing like a Nerf gun war in the street. I saw cops show up and they showed up. They blared their fucking sirens at these people. These people fired up fireworks directly at the cops. Oh my god. Hey, I need a recommendation. What do I get for a micro SD card for my Switch? It depends how much you buy digital, I think, and how many multi-platform games you get. Because some multi-platform games require a download, and if you buy digital a lot, having a bigger card is good. You know, like inside my Switch, I have a 400 gigabyte. They're doing a wizard battle like Harry Potter. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, like it depends how often you go digital. If you're like, I have a 400 gigabyte in that Switch you see right there. You can probably see it with the little Pokemon dock. There's a 400 gigabyte SD card in that one, and I buy mostly physical, and it has a lot of space. So I think there's like 200 still in there. The only games that are digital in there are games that I have to get digital, like because they don't have a physical copy, or they're DLC updates, that sort of thing, or required downloads like for Doom and stuff like that. So 400 is pretty good. I haven't had any memory issues at any point, but I also buy a lot of physicals, so it kind of just depends on you, you know. I'm in Manhattan. Protests are happening on an almost daily basis. I'm used to it at this point. Yeah, the protests they have not really been, at least in my life, they haven't really been, they haven't gotten in the way of anything really. Like they're there, they walk past, and they're peaceful. The protests in New York, like contrary to whatever the fuck you see, I have seen personally have been peaceful. They've been peaceful. Next to that subway floor, and he was knocked out. He was gone, bro. He was gone. What do you think of Persona 4 on Steam? Love it. I'm happy. It's not a perfect, it's a very good port. It's like 99% good. I think there was like one scene in particular that should have fog, and because it doesn't have fog, the background looks like shit. Because like the background clearly, you know, it's a PS2 game, so clearly like the fog was used to hide the shitty background. And then like they removed the fog because I guess it wasn't needed in the PC version, and then it looks like shit. But other than that, like the game is, I think Persona 4 is the best Persona game specifically. So it's my favorite one, right? So I'm happy to see more people playing it. I want to see Persona hit more platforms. I want to see Persona 3, 4, 5, the first two as well, but you know, Atlas, they pretend the first two don't exist. So get 3, 4, and 5 on other platforms. Why not? What do you have to lose? Why not, you know? My neighborhood almost got looted, but residents came through and stopped it. Oh, okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, I like personally, like in the Brooklyn area, there hasn't really been, to my knowledge, maybe there has been, because I'm not like in them. But like, I haven't really seen anything, you know, violent, or there was some violence because I'm in Brooklyn, right? Not gonna get any more specific than that. But there is a well-known location in Brooklyn, the Barclays Center. That shit got kind of violent, but I don't know. I don't know when, you know. I don't know how that went. You know, some shit went down, and. All I'm gonna say is hashtag Black Lives Matter. Let me see. I'm playing on normal mode, and god dang, this Rise boss battle is hard. Yeah, Rise is like, she's probably my least favorite character in this fight, in that game, to be honest. For me, Persona 3 has best story, Persona 4 has best character, Persona 5 has best gameplay. I think that's fair. Although I will like, Persona 3 is probably my least favorite of the three, primarily because of Tartarus being such a nuisance. You know, like it was a nuisance. I just found it kind of boring. Although funny enough, like in terms of Persona 4, I think I had personally, you know, you can disagree and that's fair. I liked 4 more in terms of story also. But yeah. When's the last time you were at Nintendo in New York? I have no idea. It was before the quarantine, I'll say that much. Because I work close to the store, actually. So if I wanted to, I could just, like, after work, just walk to it. But, what was it? It was, I just never had a reason to walk over there because there's always, like, a shit ton of, like, when the quarantine was at its height with the with curfew and quarantine going on at the same time, I was not willing to take that walk because I just want to get straight home after that point. Yeah, I do remember like the window. There was a broken window. Yeah, that did happen. The saying most of that shit was just people trying to start shit nothing to do with the protests. The OG Persona 3 won't let you control other characters to Persona 3 FES. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Persona 3 is definitely my least favorite. Like, I liked 5, but 5 had like certain story beats that just didn't make sense. Like, okay, like the first arc of Persona 5, like just in case like people haven't played it, I'm not gonna get super specific with it. But like the first arc is treated like, bro, exploitation of women is wrong, which is true. It is wrong. And in the second arc, they're like, exploitation of women is funny. What? How did that happen? Like, how the fuck did that happen? like there's certain things in 5 that like the writing and the story was like not really fleshed out. Or like totally forgotten about in some cases. Haru came into the party. Speaking of Haru, way too late. Like she came, like by the time Haru gets in the party, the game's basically over already. Like it's like so close to over at that point. You barely get time with her. I feel like there should have been like a filler palace or something. Like I know Mementos is kind of like optional and stuff, but like, what happened there? You know what I mean? Like that shit was crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've been good though. You know, everything has been fine on my end. Everything that I've done is like, in terms of like quarantine and like the protests and whatnot. They haven't really gotten in the way of my mental health or my work or. Yeah, you know, they haven't really gotten in the way or anything like that. It's been okay, I guess you could say. Like I think that's like the best way of looking at it. It's just been like decent. It's been okay, you know. I'm pulling through, if that makes sense. Persona 5, all corporation presidents are bad. Haru's dad. Yeah. Like Persona 5, I think what it has the best is style. Has the most style. It's like very stylistic. The UI is very like fancy looking and very it pops, you know. I think that's what it does the best. And gameplay is good too, you know, like it's definitely up there. I think for me Persona 4 was mostly my favorite because the way the story plays out compared to 5. And I like the cast the best in 4 also. I think 4 had the best cast. So yeah, that was kind of like my thing. So Florida's fucking up with coronavirus shit, but other than that, it's been all good. Alright. As long as you take care of yourself, you know, like things should be fine. I think it's starting to clear up in a couple of states. Might include a lot of stuff opening back up. Minus where so centered. I mean, I'm not trying to justify bad things at all. See, then you have Florida where cases have tripled. I don't know. Cases have tripled. I wouldn't stay inside. If my state came and said, yo, like quarantine has ended, but like virus shits have tripled, stay the fuck inside. stay inside. That's not let's stay inside. And I'll say this when it comes to and if this is considered controversial by any fashion, I don't care. Okay. I'm just gonna say this when it comes to Black Lives Matter, when it comes to these protests and all these things, right? Black Lives Matter. I'm in support of that, right? There's nothing against that in my mind, okay? I don't know why it's considered to be a political statement when it's not. It's not, and I don't understand that. I don't because I just don't. I don't get it. I don't. And I think it's kind of unbelievable that it can be seen as such a thing, to be honest with you. I know, like, politics is not my strong suit, but this is not political. I don't think it is. And as far as I'm concerned, like, there needs to be a lot of work done to, like, change that kind of shit. Like, there needs to be a lot of work done. And here's the thing. I am not the person to be talking about this shit. I'm not. I'm just some fucking guy who plays video games for most of his time. Right? I'm probably the least qualified person to talk about this shit. But there is a clear problem there. There is a clear problem there. And I can't be the... I don't know what... It's a situation where I know, with no doubt in my mind, Black Lives Matter. And shit needs to change. Straight up, shit needs to change. Whether that's police reform. Because look, I'm not black. I'm Puerto Rican. Okay. I'm Puerto Rican, right? I'm Hispanic. As far as racists believe, I basically belong to one specific demographic of sorts, which is just Hispanic or Latino, whatever the fuck, right? And I've seen my fair share of stupid shit. Very stupid shit. In neighborhoods that, like, are predominantly my race or black. Right? I've been stopped and searched numerous times based on just my appearance. I've literally been followed by white people before. I've been followed before. I had to lose them at one point. And then I was followed by the same car over and over when I went up to upstate New York for a trip. Like, this isn't like a made-up thing. Like, I know for some reason there's people who say that shit. And it's like, it's not. It's not a made-up thing. It is a real thing that's happening. And the way I look at it is that if you're more concerned over your local, like, most of the protests have been peaceful. There are people who are doing stupid shit, fine, but that is not the important message. That's not what is important. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Target gets fucked up, who cares? And if anyone has any problems with that, they can just don't talk to me. That's it. Like, I would never want, like, this stream to, like, kind of devolve into like any kind of toxicity, but supporting, like, a very racist, like, institution is not something I want to support. Okay? And again, that's all I'm saying. Black lives matter. Black lives will always matter regardless. It doesn't matter. And I genuinely don't understand how people can see it as anything but. You know? And that's the fact of it. That's what it is. I could care less about big businesses being damaged or whatever. Like, it's stupid. It's straight stupid. I don't... Again, like I said, I'm not the most qualified person to talk about it, but I can still talk about how I feel about it. You know? And, like, it annoys the shit out of me. seeing some of these responses. There's no reason to think otherwise, unless there's some kind of like ignorance in terms of like how you view the world. Yeah, like if and if anything sour, like if it's just a joke, like in my like, you know, with me, I don't mind it. You know, like it's just a joke. I can take a joke. You know. If it's just a joke, I can take a joke. But like, some people, it goes further than that. It goes further than that. Like before I accidentally get shifted canceled, you're not gonna get me canceled. You know why? Because who's gonna cancel me? Racists? Like people who genuinely don't support Black Lives Matter? If you don't support Black Lives Matter, then I don't want you here to begin with. I wear that as a badge of honor. I don't want that shit. If people genuinely just say like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with this guy because he supports a movement, like I don't care. I don't care. I've been seeing let's talk about video games. You the man. Nah, it's really not about me. Listen, man, like I have friends and family that I want to, you know, that I love, that I want to see, you know, safe and sound, you know. I need a recommendation. Fighting game or RPG? How about a RPG that feels like a fighting game? Play Trials of Mana for Nintendo Switch. Like, oh my god. And I don't know, bro. But Trials of Mana was good. Play that. You can definitely play that. It's pretty close to it. You can play both of them. I don't know. Yeah, and that's also been happening, KJ. That's also been happening. I think there's like 6 to 7 confirmed cases of that. Persona 5. Trials of Mana, yes, reminds me of Persona 5S though. It came out first. P5S? Oh, Scramble? Are you talking about Scramble? I think you're talking about Scramble. Yeah, no, but Trials of Mana is fun though. It's a fun game. It's a fun game. It's easy though. It's really easy. I would recommend playing on a higher difficulty. Is there higher difficulty? Is there even higher difficulties in Trials, man? I don't remember. Yeah, Scramble. Oh, okay, yeah. Let me see. Boy. I haven't played Scramble. Like, I know there was a demo, but I haven't, like, played it in any at all. What? Shifty, what's up? You get my messages? Let me see. Okay. I feel that the people in the front are going to further the point of erasing all cops in the media. So, the way I look at it is Trials shows of age with its dialogue. Oh, it definitely does. How do I put it? Alright. So, like, when it comes to, like, small businesses and that sort of thing, there's definitely people who are acting out of the message of the movement, of the original movement. People who are essentially diluting the very fucking message that it became with to begin with. Like, there's people who, and there's like video evidence of it too. It's like, it's not like a super hard thing to find or anything. of people who basically just like, despite nobody in the group wanting to, they'll just like start smashing shit up and all that kind of stuff. And like that kind of thing is dumb. Like that's obviously not something that the original movement is trying to portray. You get what I'm saying? And then when it comes to like certain like brands like changing the thing, as far as I'm concerned, like brands, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. The reason why I feel that way is because like brands will do whatever they can do to keep sales up, right? So like they can come out and say like, oh, we support this, we support that, whatever. Oh, we're gonna remove this to support that, right? And like very few of them do it in such a way that feels genuine. A lot of them feel like they're just doing it because they don't want to like incite some kind of negative press for their corporation, right? Or feel like they're losing dollar signs because they're not supporting, right? Or some shit like that. And it's some of them feel genuine. Like I think Ben and Jerry's ice cream, that brand had a pretty good response. But like brands doing what they're doing to like remove things and whatnot, I think it's a case-by-case basis, and I feel like a lot of them are doing it for the wrong reasons, if you get what I'm saying. Now that's my thing. I feel like it's not something that I think matters too much, personally speaking. We could probably disagree on that, but brands specifically, the companies don't care. They just want the people to buy the product, and they will say whatever they can to make it seem like they're on your side, so that way you could be like, yes, I'm gonna buy 18 jugs of ice cream now and shit. You know what I mean? Although I will say Ben and Jerry's response was probably the best one I've seen. But a lot of the companies just gave like very copy and paste responses. I'll just say that right now. And like Jake Paul, like I don't get that guy. Like I make it clear that like Logan Paul was not there. Like I saw a lot of people trying to make the claim that Logan Paul was there too. No, Logan Paul was not there. It was just Jake. The only reason why that guy in the clip says Logan Paul's name is because some guy was pranking him and telling him Jake's name was Logan. You know what I mean? Logan was not there. He's still a dick. Like he's gotten better over the years, if you haven't noticed, but he's still a dick. But like I don't know. Jake Paul being a dickhead is not surprising to me. It's not surprising to me. But yeah. In going back to the video game conversation with Jugs, Trial showing its Age of Fire dialogue. Yeah. 100%. They literally have like a moment in the game where they're like, "Oh, we've been trying to discover the legendary class. We don't know what it is. It's the first time we've ever heard of it. What is it called? Class 4." That's it. It's just called Class 4. How badass of a name is that, bro? Stupidest fucking name. Stupidest name. You couldn't call it anything else? You couldn't call it the final class, even? It's just Class 4. It's so stupid. That's just a stupid name. Straight up a stupid name. But I think, unless you guys have any more questions when it comes to gaming or how I've been doing as a person or whatever the case is, I think that's basically it. Unless there's any last questions you got. It's like the game is self-aware for the lulz half the time. Yeah. LOL Class 4 for Wii U and 3DS. It's such a dumb name. It really is such a dumb name. Like, you couldn't call it the final class or the penultimate class or some. Give it like some kind of cool name to signify that it's the final one. And it's just like, got you, bro. 4. Right there. 4 class. Class 4. Can't beat it. What do you mean class 5? There's no such thing. This is the last one. 4. 4 is the last number. That's it. It's so stupid. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think this is it. Let me see. Demon Souls of PS5 or the PS5 event in general? Oh, that's actually a good question. I mentioned it on Twitter. I'll say this. I think it did a good job in being general, right? Like, I feel like most people got at least 1 or 2 things that they liked from the event. And I think that's good because for me, there was a lot of people who felt like the whole thing was good. And for me, it was only like 3 games that really like I like seeing. And keep in mind, like when I'm looking at like next gen console like presentations, I'm specifically looking for games that are at least console exclusive. Like if it's PS4 and PS5, I tend to just go like, I already own a PS4. That's not gonna make me want to buy a PS5, right? But if it's say a game that's PS5 and PC, then all right, I'll look at that. Or if it's just PS5, I'll look at it. You know what I mean? Like it's that sort of thing. So with that being said, I only really got like 3 games I thought was cool for me, which was Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Forbidden West, I think was the name, and what was the other one I'm thinking of? Demon Souls, right? So what's funny is that Demon Souls specifically, I predicted, like I also said like Bloodborne remastered, but that ended up not happening. That's fine, but I did get the Demon Souls thing right, so hey, good shit for me, you know what I'm saying? But so I got the Demon Souls thing right, so that was cool. So obviously I'm happy about that. And Horizon, here's the thing, the other 2 games I'm iffy on. Not because of anything in particular, it's just my personal taste. I thought I liked Horizon Zero Dawn, right? I played it a year, maybe like a few years ago, and I liked it. I never finished it though, but I liked it, right? So when I saw the announcement for Forbidden West, I was like, all right, now is the time for me to finish it. And I got back on that game. You know what happened? I got bored, like very quickly. And I don't know why. I wish I could tell you why. I don't know why, but for some reason, I just got bored of Horizon Zero Dawn. And it made me just think, like, why am I forcing myself to finish a game I'm just not having fun with? So I stopped playing it. And I think for that reason, I'm no longer looking forward to Horizon Forbidden West because I didn't like the first game. So why would I buy into the sequel, right? Now, Spider-Man, I did like Spider-Man completely. I like Spider-Man. But hearing that it's like a Lost Legacy type deal where it's like a smaller title, like a smaller scale title, it's cool that it's coming, but like I'm not as excited as I was when I first heard about it. So I guess you could say like for me it was just Demon Souls, and like I guess I'll give like a half a point to like Miles Morales. I guess I don't know how that would work. So like I got like 1.5 things I wanted. You forgot Ratchet and Clank though? I don't like Ratchet and Clank. Like I said, keep in mind, I'm talking about my personal tastes. And those are the 3 that stood out to me as something I thought I would like. I don't give a shit about Ratchet and Clank. I didn't grow up with Ratchet and Clank. I didn't grow up with Crash either. So like a new Crash game doesn't really appeal to me that much. Same thing with Ratchet and Clank. A Jak and Daxter I did though. I did grow up with Jak and Daxter. So if I saw a new Jak and Daxter, you'd probably see me head over heels about it. So like that's why I say like I think the presentation did a good job being very like general, because even though I'm not a fan of Ratchet and Clank, a new Ratchet and Clank still has a pretty sizable fan base for people to enjoy it. You know what I mean? So it didn't stick to a lot of one particular genre or like one particular fan base. Like a lot of different fan bases got what they wanted that day. You know what I mean? And so I wanted a Demon Souls thing more than anything. And that was kind of just what it was. right? Like it just kind of became that for me, and a bit for Miles Morales. So for me, personally speaking, and I know there's a bit of a hot take because I saw like a lot of people love the shit out of it. In terms of my personal taste in the games that I grew up with and I enjoy, I didn't really get that much from it, personally speaking. The best thing was Demon Souls by far because I predicted it because I wanted it, and Miles Morales, I'm just a little disappointed it's not like a full thing, but I get why because it's only what, like 2 years later from Spider-Man, so it makes sense. Bro, I got myself pro controller. Feels so good. Oh, that's yeah, pro controller is great. I think it's probably the only controller I think that's it's been, I think it's one of the best controllers Nintendo has ever made, easily. You heading out, Gil? All right, I'll see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm still waiting for PS4 backwards compatibility. I want to use the PS4 out the window. That is, this again another hot take because I feel like a lot of people are very impressed with the PS5 presentation, and for me, I just got like one thing that I really wanted. In terms of launch specifically, I want to make that clear. Launch, I'm leaning more to the Xbox, primarily because of what you just mentioned, Jugs, backwards compatibility. Because I have, because the majority of my friends that I know, like on a day-to-day basis, like my IRL real friends, that my personal close friends, most of them are on the Xbox, because they just always played Xbox, right? So for that reason, I get a lot of my multi-platforms on Xbox, right? So for that reason, the Series X has a lot more for me to play at launch, considering that it's backwards compatible in its entirety. Like, you can play any Xbox One game on that thing, right? So, at launch, to me, as of right now, it has the more enticing offer. Because it's either that and Halo Infinite, which, I mean, Halo has not been in a good spot for like a while, but I don't have to buy Halo Infinite because of Game Pass. So if I buy like a Series X, I get every single one of my games from the past, right? And every what's the word? Every Game Pass game at launch, and I get Halo Infinite at launch without having to buy anything else. I just have to buy the system, and that's it. Well, on the PlayStation 5, unless something changes, like maybe they'll give more info like down the line, I'll be spending a similar amount. We don't know, there's no confirmed prices or anything, but I'll be spending a similar amount, and then I have to buy Spider-Man on top of it to get a game I can use on it. So it's either pay extra, possibly, for a game that's not even a full sequel, it's just like a spin-off, kind of smaller scale title, and play that one game, and I guess maybe another if I wanted to buy another one, or get a Series X and get my entire backwards compatibility catalog and also Halo Infinite without having to buy anything else. So if that makes sense, like at launch, I think the Series X is more enticing of an offer for me right now. I am definitely going to get both eventually because I do want to get the PlayStation 5 for certain exclusives like Demon Souls. But as a launch, like specifically, like I'm leaning more towards the Xbox. So, you know, that's kind of like where I'm feeling right now. Unless something changes down the line where like some game gets announced or something, like that's just how I'm looking at it right now. Hey Shifter, can we do a quick 1v1 at Smash? I want to see if I got better. I can maybe in another day right now. Because I'm kind of just chilling right now, to be honest with you. But we could definitely do one maybe the next time I stream, or maybe the time after that. I'm not sure. I don't really have a streaming schedule or anything like that right now. So, I mean, yeah. But I'm not. I mean, I'm down for it. I'm just not down for it right at this moment. You know what I mean? But yeah. It's cool. Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, I definitely got you though, since you asked ahead of time. Because I'm very rusty at Smash right now. I gotta like get back on it in general. See how it goes. But yeah. But I'm definitely gonna try. Keyword on try, because my sleep schedule is kind of trash. I'm streaming at 1 a.m. Obviously, it's trash, guys. But look at the bags under my eyes. But the 22nd, Monday, I'm gonna try to stream the Smash presentation. If I can do it, you'll see me online. You'll get the notification. Hopefully, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. Do the bell thing so you know when when I upload or when I go live. So that way you guys can be notified when I go live. So if I'm able to stream the presentation, you guys can join me on that. And then maybe if the character releases the same day, I'll try to get a video out for you guys. And maybe the stream after that, I could probably do a bunch of... I could run up a lobby where I just play that new character. Could be fun, right? And maybe there we can do like a 1v1 and have a good time on that, you know? Because there's definitely going to be some Smash content coming very soon, fellas. Those presentations either end with the new character releasing, or it's the day after. I think Byleth was like the only one that wasn't that soon, and even then, he was like, what, like a week after or some shit? Like, it's soon. Easy. It's going to happen very soon. What I do is watch the presentation first and watch people's reactions. I could do that. I could probably do that. Well, actually, okay. I'll ask you guys here now, since you guys are here. Would you prefer if I tried to record, if I recorded a reaction, or if I recorded or I streamed it with you guys? So what was that about the guy saying you scammed him? Oh, that thing. So I tweeted about it on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, you know, do so. Is it in the description? I'm not sure if it's in the description actually. But yeah, so I have no idea who that is. That's straight up what that was. I haven't bought anything off my PlayStation in like... Hang on, let me look at my games actually. I don't even remember the last game I bought on my PlayStation, because I didn't buy Last of Us. I'm actually just borrowing it, and the person that is lending it to me did not want the statue, so they gave it to me. It's like a gift. Which, by the way, if that person is watching this, thank you so much. You are the best. So there's that, right? And then I played Final Fantasy VII Remake the same way. I borrowed it from someone, so I don't even like, you can even check because there's a few people in this chat that does have me added on PSN. You can even check my PSN. I'm barely on there, so I have no idea who that is. I think what happened is that because my name Shifty is kind of common, like if you go on YouTube, you can find like a few people with the name Shifty. I think what happened is somebody he knows with the same name probably did that to him, and he thought I was that person. That's my only guess. I really don't know who that is, so I have no idea. But if you want a stream, yeah, I think, you know what I could do is technically I could do both. I could do a stream, and if I have any interesting reactions, I could just clip it and turn into a video, right? That'll probably work. I just gotta hope my sleep schedule is decent enough that I can get up on time and do that shit, because I wanna do that. Let me see here. Alright, right here, I'm putting my Twitter in the chat right now, so if you're interested in following me for any reason, you can follow that link and follow me. Right. But yeah, I tweet every once in a while. I'm not super active, but I tweet enough for when stuff like you mentioned Sour happens. I do kind of call it out. So, you know, there's that too. Well, feel free to follow me if you are into doing that. But yeah, I don't have much else to say. I think that kind of just covers it. Yeah, if there's any other questions, I think that is it. I don't have much else to say other than yay, Skate is coming back. Yeah, it's kind of it. Hey, Skate's coming back. uh, yeah, I remember tweeting one of your streams when we 1v1'd. Oh yeah, which one was that? I wonder. When you called me, oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, cause I was what was I saying? What was the joke I was making? I was making like some joke like, oh, if anyone does the drag down up air with Joker, then I'm going to assume you are MK Leo. And I think like right after I said that, you did it, and I was like, oh, well, he's MK Leo. Oh god. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You know how like the funny thing is that the main reason why I made that joke was because I know so many Jokers or so many people who main Joker who don't do that. I feel like that's one of the few ways you can tell when someone goes from like a low tier Joker to like at least a mid tier Joker. Like that's like the first barricade from being like you're just playing Joker to you play Joker. You know what I mean? Like you main Joker. If that makes sense. There's certain things characters do that if you see someone doing that, you know they play this character. Like, you know what I mean? And you know they spent a pretty good amount of time on that character. And I feel like that's one of those things. But that's good. If you can do drag down upper all the time, that's good because it's very useful. Like for Joker, it's like his almost like a bread and butter type of thing. You know, like you always want to be doing that shit. It's always good. It's just like I've played because you know Joker's like a top tier character. It's like a million people who play him, so it's not common that you see it happen. Like, alright, I'm gonna leave. Good streams here, Shifty. Alright, good to have you around, Sour. Good talking to you. I appreciate you stopping by. Like, if you play a heavy, you're not getting out for seconds. Yeah, that's the idea. Like, it's just, like, I think what it is that when you have a character that's top tier, there's a lot of people who pick that character and think they're gonna win with that top tier without doing any of the things that make that character top tier. You know what I mean? Like, drag down up air is one of Joker's best things, but some people don't ever do it. You know what I mean? Like, they just kind of rely on, like, Arsene and then try winning with just that. But if I see you doing that, then my mindset changes from he's just playing Joker to, oh, he knows Joker. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different approach there. If I play a Joker, if I play someone who mains Joker and I don't see them ever do a drag down up air, I'm assuming they don't actually know the character as well as they think they do. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of it. But if you can do it, that's good. You know, you should be doing that. You should. It's like when I watch a Palutena never two-frame. It's like she has like one of the best two-frames in the whole game. How are you not doing it? Same thing with Mario. If you're Mario and you don't know how to do a two-frame, what are you doing? Like, you don't have to do anything to two-frame with those characters. But if you don't do it, that means you don't... That doesn't tell me you can't do it. It tells me you don't know about it. You know? And that's pretty much what it boils down to. It's not even a bad thing. You could learn it, but it's when I play a character when I play someone who doesn't know that, I just assume they're playing because they're top tier. But yeah, I think that about does it for today, guys. If you stop by any point, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's been quite some time since I've talked to you guys the way I have today, and it was nice. It was nice. It's been a while. Been too long. But I'm happy that you guys came through to the stream, despite, you know, despite the hiatus. And it's nice talking to you guys. I really appreciated you guys coming by today and hanging out. So, thank you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys.